Perfect. All right, so yeah, thoughts for you. I mean, number one on the matchup, Jordan versus Barles. What are your thoughts on this one? I caught just a little bit. Basically, I caught the last two games like you did of Barles and Sato. It was right that he overcame yesterday. Jordan seems to have had an easier time score-wise working his way through the bracket.
Which was quite wild, right? Obviously, Vivi, probably someone that kind of lost a little of momentum, but 3-1 against Hart, back-to-back there, pretty solid. By the way, we're already in-game, so more than lobby. And we're looking at Outcrop here. Tatars against Britons. Barles obviously had to push through, also a really tough bracket to get here. Lots of people saying this is pretty late for Jordan here. I still hope, with knowing for quite some time that he could play late, he is still able to play to his best capabilities, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan takes this one in like 4-2 fashion.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I was even tempted to say he would take it in a more dominant fashion than that. I feel like Jordan right now, although I know Dave was joking about the time that we're starting. Fatigue though is always a legitimate factor. So maybe the lack of sleep or the time of day will catch up with Jordan. But I expect this one to be a fairly dominant showing.
Okay.
Being honest.
Will obviously be something for GL fans now after Doubt. Misqualification here, barely. Twice. 4-3, 4-3, I just remember. Has to be heartbreaking there for sure. And, well, Tatars against Britons, quite interesting. Obviously, as we know, lots of cows extra here at the site. And extra sheep, and Britons and Tatars both benefiting from it. Britons in the sense that you gather the resources faster, and with Tatars they have more food.
Very interesting. Spec dashboard shows me that they're still in the lobby, and every time I join, it gives me an error.
Okay, well then you are.
I will figure that out. You go ahead and keep going, and I will let you know when I'm.
Okay, well, I can take a look at this as well and send you the ID. So if you use this one and put that into your browser, the game should load it.
There we go. Okay, here we go.
But game is paused right now anyways.
Well,
yeah.
Tatars, Britons, I'm loading in just now, so I'll catch up.
Yeah. Pretty much impossible that you miss anything. Barles actually deciding to go for a relatively early barracks. Could indicate a man-at-arm opening. Jordan will be a bit later, gets Lumen, then could be clicking up pretty soon as well. 200 food in the hand, that's 311 in the bank, so should all work out quite nicely.
Alrighty, perfect. Away we go. Away we go. All right, so
very
interesting map here. Outcrop. Yeah, go for it. All about control of the sides when it comes to the major resources with stone and gold, even some great hunt if you can manage to get yourself out there. Of course, all of the wood control, or primarily the wood control in the middle of the map, which is very interesting. Sec admin, interesting. Well, it looks like they dove back in, so maybe it's a quick question to an admin. Diving back in. I'm sure when Nili gets back, he'll catch up. Tatars, interesting pick. Both Tatars and Britons, interesting pick here. I think very archer focused for Tatars, obviously having these hills on either sides and kind of the valley in between makes them a very potent pick when it comes to taking fights. And so Barles is going to have to be very strategic in choosing when he wants to engage with Jordan, because a majority of the time, if Jordan can find himself a hill, he's going to have a nice advantage.
Man-at-arm opening here, and Jordan not on gold. That means he can go for scouts. Oh, now sends two villagers in the back and probably switched his plans a bit after seeing the early barracks and tries to make an archer range defense happen. Won't be that easy for him, though. And now moves villagers away from wood. Interesting approach here. Nice adjustment by Jordan.
Yeah, tracking these militia as they make their way in towards his base. So not going to be too surprised by anything that happens here. Moves two villagers to gold. Barles gets the better hits on the scout there as he comes in, but he's going to look for somewhere to do damage, even walling up the berries already. Jordan is archery range goes down.
Walls to the top now as well. How much do you think it could be in Jordan's head now, the last set? When he feels like, wow, I trained a lot with Dowd, we had preparation, we made plans together, and he just lost his set. Is it more likely that I lose my set now as well?
I mean, it's definitely an interesting conversation, right? The idea that you get these pockets of training between different players and teams, and obviously, if you watch your teammate play a series before you and things don't go the way that they're expected, you definitely might either approach your own Civ draft differently, or the way you bring certain civs to different maps. I would hope Jordan is an experienced enough player that he can, you know, kind of take maybe some small learnings from Doubt series, but not over-index into the results, right? End of the day, it's about the play. And we even saw in that Doubt series that you can outplay, you know, quote-unquote Civ wins, right? You know, just by virtue of ending up in a situation where your Civ might be a little bit outclassed doesn't mean you can't win the game. Jordan doing great work so far with a couple archers out on the field to push these militia away. So both players, very stable game so far for them in the early Feudal Age.
0-0 KD, and it was no man-at-arm opening, only 2 militia, and is going for archers himself. So will be full archer versus full archer, and Britain's obviously 1 extra range for them. Once we hit Castle Age and Tatars, extra or Thumbring for free, and access to Thumbring at all. So better accuracy against standing units and better fire rate.
Yeah, both players slowly working on their walls as Jordan continues to defend. Barles gets his blacksmith up, starting to wall off that eastern side of the map. Keeping all of his archers at home. Still creating. Oh, as I say that, decides to send a pack of 4 forward.
Still no fletching.
Jordan now dropping down his walls as well. Fletching coming in.
From both sides, and yeah, seems like Jordan will be fully walled here. A bit late on the left-hand side. Skirm's now defending the right-hand side. Feels okay, that's maybe the area that you can attack me the easiest, and even finds more cows for himself. And that's a solid 450 food. Wow.
What is the bonus? They get 50% more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially on those cows. So very nice. I mean, both civs, right? Love their sheep or their cows.
But Jordan didn't shift
Jordan
click the
didn't
walls
finish
there.
this wall.
Uh-oh. This could be that Vil. Scout around.
Vil making his way over to drop a house now. Scout will see it and prevent the house from going down. Only 2 archers in defense to the 4 of Barles. So this villager will get pushed back. May even lose it if Barles decides to commit. Arrows miss, and so he'll take the archers instead. But this is a bit of an annoyance that I'm certain Jordan didn't want to or didn't think he'd have to deal with here when he was dropping those walls. Getting pushed off of gold for just a moment, sending skirmishers over to gain that space back. Just a little bit of disruption. Horse collar coming in for Barles back at home. He's almost complete with his walls, and the farms start dropping. Market as well in the back for Barles already, so very cozy base for him. He's locked and loaded and ready to make his way towards Castle Age.
Okay, double archer range from Jordan. Very likely that Barles could follow it up with the second archer range himself. Only 5 on gold for now, so typically like Britons need like 9 on gold if you want to keep both archer ranges running. So for now, thinks more about the Castle Age advantage. And 2-2 KD, no villager losses. This could be a long one.
Absolutely. We have 11 farms to 7 on the side of Jordan. Of course, Jordan does have 4 cows still remaining as the Tatars and some ibex as well. So not hurting for food, but Barles definitely a little bit more of a focus on that farming eco and accelerating himself towards the Castle Age, while both players do match each other in the resource department, though. So as you say, very likely easy up to Castle Age for both players, and then it's about expanding those ecos, taking control of the sides. You know, will they go opposite sides? Will they attempt to control the same sides is the big question.
And if we think about the very long game, we have to give the advantage for Tatars. Britons just really struggling to play different angles, not really the mobility civilizations. While Tatars can go heavy CA, can go for really great Hussars, can play Kashik, and they love to expand and don't mind to play like 4 or 5 TCs everywhere.
I'm forgetting the exact matchup in my head right now, but there was a matchup where somebody on this map basically took control of both sides with castles. Was it a Jordan game? And then Jordan was able to trap back on one side singularly?
Well, Jordan was really, really cornered against Vivi yesterday.
Vivi,
Against
yeah,
the Spanish castle at the bottom, and Jordan couldn't really expand. And
that's what it was. He was
some
basically stuck on one stone, and then he eventually freed up a gold and was able to push it all back. So these games can definitely extend if you can manage to get a hold of some of those resources on the side. There's no shortage of the important resources, to say the least. Jordan forward with his skirmishers right now, just taking a peek at Barles' base.
Those are 3 dead archers. No, opens the gate now. Villager, can he block this one off? Oh, good job.
He does. Well done. Saves those archers. Gets the house foundation down.
Good crisis management.
Castle age for both players. 10-15 second difference. Barles will hit first. Archer armor coming in for Jordan already. Or actually, Barles already has it, so I take that back. Just matching him. 1 in both categories for those upgrades. I like this, though. Barles has 1 weak archer up to the north, scouting for when Castle Age gets hit.
Ready.
If Jordan decides to make his way out to the eastern side, he'll catch it. Jordan doing the same with a spearman and his scout on the southwestern side as well.
Yeah. Sends 4 villagers
Castle
out
Age in.
to the left.
All right, so Jordan wants to go to the left. The question is, where does Barles go? He goes to the right. So we're going opposite sides here as Crossbow Bodkin comes in for Barles. It's Elite Skirmisher and Bodkin for Jordan. So Jordan going straight into the counter unit here.
Monastery from him as well, so doesn't want to run into any knight shenanigans. While we actually see some knights being added. Mangonel's probably a good unit against Jordan now.
Absolutely. Archers or crossbows making their way across the map from Barles. He's going to do a little bit of scouting, see if he can get some damage in. But right at the front of Jordan's base, going to run into those skirmishers as they become elite and gets pushed away. Both players getting their first TCs up as we speak.
2-2 KD, such a passive game. TC even in the back for Jordan. Oh boy, this could be a long one to start this one off.
Did he start that TC and then delete it? Just to get it closer to the woodline?
Maybe he built a university and then decided, okay, no, I want something else.
That sounds more likely. Because it was a very awkward TC spot to begin with. Barles going to find the TC from Jordan here over on the left-hand side with his vision. So at least knows that it exists.
Kind of opened the right-hand side just to chase down 1 crossbow. Interesting. And Jordan, I think he just realized, yeah, this is going to be the super long game. And that's why he goes for the monastery that early. He simply knows, okay, this could be really long.
Yeah. No monk produced just yet for him. But, again, is aware of that fact. When it comes to a long game here, Tatars, Britons, I mean, both games are fairly powerful late game. Says, who do you prefer in this matchup, though?
It feels Tatars. Mobility is key. Crazy hussars as well. You can go for the skirms and Britons. They kind of want to play the one-dimensional push through the center. And as you mentioned earlier, like, the sides are just so important.
I was going to say, it is kind of an interesting decision to go Britons who generally want to ball up into one force when often we see this map split to the wings and very rarely is it fought kind of straight up the middle as well. Tatars, like you say, with that mobility get to play the hills and the hill bonus of their civ quite well.
Ballistics now a minute away. Monk caught off guard here at the front. Can he squeeze in? Tries to go for conversion, but that will never go through. Crossbows should punish him.
Yep, they'll swoop in, look to snipe this monk, making his way towards the town center. Wow, he's got fancy feet, man. He didn't get hit by a single arrow there.
That's surprising, right? Just barely out of...
Old man's got moves.
Raid at the top as well. Barles plays this one quite actively, and Jordan missing some reactions. Army at the right-hand side missed the one of Barles.
Yeah, quietly, 3 villager kills over the last minute for Barles, but Jordan's still with the villager lead as he's been on 3 TCs for quite a bit longer. Barles just dropping his 3rd one now out on that right wing as well. So still just minor action between the 2 players at the moment. Barles looking to harass as best he can, bringing these knights over to the left-hand side, forcing some idle time on that stone.
Only one armor upgrade on those knights though, so Skirm's actually doing, well, some okayish tickling there against them. Oh, but knight at the right side? No, should die as well. 2 archers should be enough. And Jordan now the first relic here under control for him. Knight deleted, and Skirm still doing K damage, but now knight numbers are getting a bit out of control.
I was going to say, you pop on over to the left-hand side again, and all of these skirmishers under great threat from the 8 or so knights that Barles has moving forward. First of the Cav Archers, though, out onto the field as well for Jordan. So we're going to start to see that mobility come into play to kind of match the mobility of the knights. Britain Knights, definitely not something you want to be in for the long term, but solid for now at the very least. Another 4th and 5th TC going down for Barles as we speak, and he is now expanding out to both sides. Want to take some space on either wing. Make sure he has some presence, doesn't end up in a situation like Jordan was just yesterday against Vivi.
Kind of wild that he expands like this. And yes, the A trying to intercept one of the right, but not going to happen most likely. And Jordan, heavily on stone, can now build the castle. Interesting positioning. Yeah, it guarantees to go up, but you're not controlling yourself a lot of gold or stone.
Barles is micro-nerding that one Vil to make sure he didn't lose a single one on that TC. He was dodging ballistics shots to keep all of his villagers up. Yep, castle will go up for Jordan again. Very, very defensive. So Barles taking advantage of that map control that he had early on by expanding out to both sides without much of any kind of a statement from Jordan. University going down for him at home as well now, so he'll be looking to bring in ballistics soon enough.
Not a single villager on gold right now, and those knights could maybe find the villagers in the back. No, Jordan sees it instantly. So far, really close. Look at that. Collected resources within 100 there. Really close game from both of them. Jordan, 2 relics, something that Barles does not care about at all yet.
Yeah, Jordan's already got another guaranteed relic as well by that TC on the left-hand side. So we'll at least get to 3 by the mid-game of this. Taking a look at the food count, though, both players with about 25 on food. So, I mean, Nili, come back to this idea that we are for certain going into a fairly late game here from both squads. So really, it's just about determining what your unit composition wants to be and where the important areas of the map are. Setting yourself up for those engagements in Imperial Age with good castle placement and good unit composition.
I think, though, if you are Britons, you kind of need to... It feels so weird, but I think the castle needs to go into the center and pressure the opponent there.
I kind of agree with you, actually. I was going to say, I think that the best thing you can do as the Britons is actually, in a sense, just threaten the whole of the farming economy from Jordan, right? If you can get a forward castle up in the center and just push straight into the farming economy, you get rid of most of the villagers, even if you don't take your opponent off of stone and gold.
Oh, interesting move here in the center. C8. Oh, God, that will be some dead crossbows, I believe, even if he's micro-nerding this one out. Actually, only loses 2 crossbows. That was reasonable for him. Cast at the left, though.
Yeah. Ballistics in, but he will try and drop a castle. The Cav Archers are going to see this. Will the Skirmishers rotate over? Quite a few Knights, though, should be able to deal with those Skirmishers fairly well.
Only 1 armor
Barles, though,
upgrade.
thinking twice. Wants to readjust his villagers. Isn't so confident that he can get this up.
Yeah, CA will be good against the Knights. Skirmish is good against the crossbows. And then there's not a lot of protection for those villagers. That's a nice find for Jordan.
All right, our first big engagement of the game, and who does it go the way of? It looks like militarily it goes to Jordan, but did Barles buy him enough time to get this castle up? Jordan moving forward with his Cav Archers, wants to take these villagers off, and Barles retreats.
I think Jordan could still continue mixing in some skirmishes. Feels like a reasonable unit. Right now, mainly focusing on crossbows. Has to be happy with how much damage he did
Jordan
here.
coming forward with villagers. He's dropping a counter castle to this 83% castle that Barles has on the field. And a siege workshop behind. All of a sudden, Jordan's foot hit the gas.
And the raid at the right-hand side as well. Macro on point as well. Barles lost some villagers there. Now sees the raid coming in. And that castle won't go up.
No, absolutely not. Great play by Jordan. Gonna get his up 30% away at the moment. Siege Workshop up as well. Now moving those villagers over to stone. Eco upgrades coming in as well for Jordan. And Barles now feeling like he needs to himself pivot into Elite Skirm.
And that's not really where you want to go for if you are
Not
Britain
Britons.
player. And ooh, look at that. Castle now further behind, but CA, they can stall that out quite a bit as well.
Yeah, coming in from behind again. Looking for a couple villager picks. This one, at least, in my opinion, will go up, but there will be losses, and significant ones at that, actually, as it doesn't look like he's too focused on this moment. Has to garrison the villagers yet again. Oh no, disaster for Barles, actually.
Oh god, and now the ram to the front. I think, actually, can you maybe ignore the castle and just go to the town center directly with the ram?
I actually would. I wouldn't bother with this front foundation at all. If anything, you could even go past the TC and just hit the the castle that he really wants to build, the super defensive one. But either way, Jordan's going to take it slow and steady. He feels like with this play, he's already wrestled some control in the game, doesn't want to overstep, doesn't want to over-index, and will keep pushing forward. Now, all of that said, the resources that he's indexing or that he's investing into putting out these rams does mean he's a little bit slower to the Imperial Age. Barles already with the click up. Jordan just now hitting the resources, and I expect to see that click in just a moment.
So you have to love the imp timing from Jordan. Like, yeah, it is later, but like so much map control, you still force so many hiccups at the other side. That's absolutely reasonable for Jordan. He has so many skirps out on the map. Like, there's no instant power spike for Barles here.
No, not at all. And as you say, yeah, it's perfectly reasonable to sacrifice a minute's worth of your imp time to get the kind of control over the game that you have. Barles is able to force that castle up on the left-hand side at the cost of a few lives for his villagers. He also has a castle on the right-hand side to defend the expansion that he's been able to achieve over there. Jordan losing a lot of cav archers, actually, to that castle, maybe not realizing that it did go up. He lost almost his entire cav archer force over there in that moment.
Only 3 left, yeah, that's quite surprising. Switches into Kashik now. Elite Skirm Kashik, obviously crazy army composition. Pretty much impossible for a Britain player to find a good answer against that. And Jordan, soon with a 3 castle setup.
I really like this other castle as well, protecting that farming eco, because what do we talk about, right? If Jordan gets total security over the left-hand side for the Britain player, more than likely they're going to have to push into the main eco. So Jordan's already preparing to protect his farming eco, as the Keshiks will find out a few of these elite skirms, pick them off nice and easily. Barles matching him, though, with a castle at home as well. So both players understand the importance of protecting their ecos with structures, because this map spreads you out so much.
And both players also building lots of outposts at the right-hand side. Jordan now sending some army in, but obviously we had a long fight at the left-hand side. Now first trap out, while Jordan still goes for more Kashiks. And military-wise, we're looking at 1 monk, 1 trap, 1 knight for Barles right now.
Okay, so the first to Trebs, which is going to be at least somewhat useful, but he's got no military over here to protect this Treb. So I'm a little concerned that those Keshiks that Jordan has are just going to swing in and pick that off, no problem.
Well, let's take a look at that. Obviously, still lacking quite some armor upgrades. Last armor upgrade coming in only 50 seconds. And then he can maybe dive. Oh yeah, he's sending more from the top. He can easily dive now. But walls around it.
Yep, 18 Keshiks here on the left-hand side, but great stone walls out of Barles. Did he get them all down? He's trying to spam the last couple down around his gold, and he does, it looks like. So he'll be able to protect that Treb nicely. Melee units won't be able to achieve much. Second Treb, though, will go down unprotected. But Jordan is going to have to find a way to deal with this kind of constant siege pressure on his forward castle. Bringing a Treb forward of his own. Hopefully that will be enough for him to take that one down. Barles dropping a 5th castle as well on the right-hand side. So very well protected is he when it comes to his resources.
John kind of needs a mangonel there to deal with that trap. At least feels like it. By the way, we checked into elite longbowman. So that will be the unit choice for Barles. And as you mentioned, with 5 castles, he certainly has enough production. 152 villages, especially with Britons. This should be considered an overboom, though.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe it's just going to be longbowmen and pikes or halbs, because he's dropping a bunch of barracks as well. So again, going for kind of that death volley push where you've got 50 to 60, you know, or 40 to 60 longbowmen and some pikes in front to deal with the Keshiks and give a bit of a meat shield. All that said, repairing desperately this castle on the left-hand side, but it looks like with enough Treb pressure, Jordan will be able to take full control of the left-hand side, and we will have a perfectly split map.
And, well, still the raid in the center there. Could you not go through next to the university? Oh yeah, you still can. Okay, so Jordan is really in. And Barles thought he was safe.
Oh no. That is a massive hole to find. Of course, lucky for Barles, he's got this castle that he preemptively placed in his farming eco a while back. It's going to give him at least a target for garrisons and some safety from these Keshiks, but that's a lot of idle eco and even a lot of dead vills, the ones that he can't seem to fit inside the town center.
And Keshiks, they're happy, just randomly attacking some units without getting killed for it, generating some more gold for the team. But now, well, those town centers with Bracer, with chemistry, still getting quite some damage done.
Yeah, that's 50 idle villagers for Barles on top of the ones that are falling to their deaths. Of course, he still has 138 vills, so in some senses, maybe it's good solving the overboom issue that we had earlier as he moves forward on the left-hand side now with Halberdier and his elite longbows, trying to preserve this one treb he has, putting pressure on Jordan's castle.
Castle is getting saved. Ram, will it get the last hits off? Yup, dies quickly after it though. And now we tech into everything. Look at that. More range for our traps. Now more armor for the CA and Tassas. Jordan's economy just so good to afford everything. And Tatars, they need a lot of time to actually get to all the upgrades and get to their desired army compositions.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, Nili, we're already seeing the difficulty of piloting Britons against a civ like Tatars right now, right? Where Jordan has a force on the left-hand side, kind of his main pushing force, but he has a small force on the right-hand side doing just enough damage, causing just enough issues that Barles has to focus on it and produce military on that side as well. And for the Britons, smaller forces, not as good. Smaller separate forces, not as good as the Tatars.
And now Jordan, that is already a tight map, and he increases his range on the traps, takes game one here. Tatars played really, really nicely, and I think the main scene simply when he got the control over the castle that Barles wanted to build on the left.
Absolutely. I mean, it was in some senses, almost a flawless game. Now, this is to say that Jordan wasn't also pushed very hard, but he kind of just understood that if he could continue to expand and get into the late game and get into his ideal army composition, that if he plays the mobility of that composition, there's nothing that Barles and the Britons can do to keep up with him.
Yeah, that was really well played, and I love, like, as we said, like elite Kashik, and even backed it up with all the heavy CA. Britons, I think they kind of have to play an all-in there at one point. It feels so weird because Britons are crazy, but Tatars just pull you apart.
Yeah, I think with Castle, he actually had a faster Castle time too, right? But just a tiny bit, and I think you just have to get, or actually no, it was by just a bit, by like 10 seconds or so. But yeah, I think with Crossbow, you have to try and take advantage of that range advantage that you have in Castle, and either contain your opponent, kind of like Vivi did, and just close it out a bit stronger than Vivi did, or at least do enough eco damage that then when you get to Imp, you can outproduce him. But that wasn't the case, even though he did get a couple of Vil snipes in Castle Age. Wasn't enough to kind of put Jordan in an uncomfortable position. So game one goes the way of the GL player on Tatars.
Okay, and we're going for Hippopotamus as game two. Can be a really, really wild one. Super short distance, and I'm interested to see. We had lots of different approaches on this map already, and this time it will be a villager rush from Barles. Sends 3 villagers to the front. Jordan instantly walling off his woodline though, and will feel fine, and Barles loses quite some time. Walls in the woodline now. 3 villager aggression, Lithuanians for Barles, and Jordan with Dravidians.
Dravidians versus Lithuanians. Ooh. Lithuanians is definitely a power pick in my head.
150 extra food for them. Dravidians, they kind of want to play men-at-arms. Would love to get to the 200 extra wood for the next age. Quite nice with the archer ranges. Men-at-arm upgrade also cheaper if you want to go for it. But that's obviously something for the future. For now, it is just, okay, what is the next step for Jordan after he's walled in? Because that means those are 4 villagers that will be trapped and could die to a tower later on. What can I help you to join the game? What can I do to help you?
I mean, I was loading in and then the game just froze, so I'm just restarting.
Okay.
Yeah, like the URL worked and then I just got stuck on the load screen as opposed to...
Okay, Barles will dock the top. Will have enough wood for himself. Those villagers going back though. Would ideally, yeah, replace that one. And that will be a pretty sweet one here on Hippopotamus. Still one villager around. Killed some of the deer in the center. Wanted to find an elephant ideally, but Jordan very early to get those already for himself. Only 4 relics. I think maybe 4 on this map, maybe 5. Don't think it's the most important thing. Don't think this game will ever be decided by relics. But yeah, Lithuanian struggles a bit to get to all of them. Shorefish now on the outside for Jordan. Pushes in some zebras that got killed earlier. And the third villager even joining the party at the top. And Barles, he will be questioning Jordan, like, where is your army? Like, where are you doing your fancy stuff? I don't really see you having a dock. I don't really see you having more than 4 villagers on wood. And Jordan drops the barracks. That will be indeed the man-at-arm aggression. Probably towards the woodline of Barles. His feudal age timing obviously will be better than the one that had to villager rush. But economy eventually will be better for Barles, simply because he has more shorefish and the extra fishing ships.
Yeah, what a trek Barles made over here to the top right side to drop that dock. Love the play though as well to wall in the wood villagers. Just a little bit of an annoyance that Jordan's going to have to deal with. He's making his way to feudal age right now as the barracks completes. We'll see what kind of pressure he can achieve with those militia and or men-at-arms as they make their way across.
Maybe second lumber camp at the top? Looks a bit like it, right? Has enough villagers there, and the villagers even idling there, walled in. Not the prettiest thing ever. Ah, and he tries to chop himself in! Friends!
Wow! Wow, that's big brain right there. I would never think to actually check, like, the wood value of that tree.
Wow, that's clever.
Oh, I love to see stuff like that. That's just high-level play. Great ingenuity and creativity out of Jordan to make sure that he doesn't have to spend another 100 wood on a lumber camp. Of course, Barles is not going to be outdone. He brings 2 villagers over to re-wall that wood line in.
Let's fix that, he says. And Barles, I think he still doesn't have a barracks, only now the mining camp. So this will be tricky. Men-at-arms will be around. And Jordan, now the big question, is he building the tower? And if so, where is it going to be? At the front or at his home wood line?
Yeah, the good news for Barles is he did track those those militia coming forward, so was able to wall up his wood line, although one of his villagers got walled out. Gonna have to make his way back to the TC. Can Jordan get the kill with the block? He's trying to bring his scout over to do so. I think he'll make it back. Keeps that villa alive. Archery range going up at home for Jordan as well. He's got a mill on the south side, so taking advantage of some of that shorefish.
Sneaky barracks from Barles. Not really sure what's happening there. And Jordan,
he's gonna follow it up with archery range.
Tower from Barles at home. To be safe there.
Yeah, he only has 100 wood, so doesn't really know what to do with these 2 villages over here in Jordan's base. My assumption is sneaky archery range so that he could go attack that wood line.
Could be a reasonable assumption because he has the tower, so doesn't fear anything at his own wood line. And the big problem though, Jordan is now at the gold.
Yeah, archery range does go down with those 2 villagers. Jordan also got a dock up in the north, so producing a fire galley, but will be the second fire galley out behind Barles's. Let's
take a look here, villagers. Still trying to do some damage against the scout. All of them will make it home. 70 gold. Goes for skirmishes. Obviously not the unit that he wants to go for. But couldn't really afford more. Simply wants to go for some fire galleys. Otherwise he loses the water. And also eventually wants to get fletching in.
Let's see if Barles is producing skirms now out of that sneak archery range.
Jordan with the weird tower. Oh, I don't think I like that one.
Whoa. That's going to range 1 tree.
And it's so easy to just move to the side. Just another lumber camp there.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that one.
That feels like a bit of a reach. I would have been happy with the stone investment from Barles if I were Jordan. Just knowing that he's already invested a stone in a preemptive tower.
This only makes sense if you are on stone yourself and can tower the right, run around, and tower the left-hand side. Yeah.
Right. Jordan starting to take the win on water, by the way, as we look up north, harassing that villager away. Going to attack the fish as well with his 2 fire galleys. The skirmishers now pushing 3 skirmishers without fletching, pushing Jordan off of his gold. 6 villagers idle in that town center as a result of those skirmishers. So he's going to have to find a way to deal with that.
Barles saves the villager at the top.
Yeah,
there.
cheeky wall with the stone walls. Will be an idle villager. Fish goes down to Jordan's fire galleys.
Couldn't really get enough
But
fire
an
galleys
eco
in
lead for
defense.
Barles through all of this.
Kind of interesting, right? 30 villagers there. Jordan. Oh, simply
2
villager
2 minutes of idle TC. Ooh.
Quite massive. Didn't really have the food income. Just look at it. Like, where is he getting food right now? Some villagers with shorefish. Could be pushed away on water as well.
Yeah, exactly. Only 6 vills on food currently. Does bring up a blacksmith, but again, blacksmith with no food to invest into any upgrades. Barles is putting up a market in the back of his base. We've hit kind of a weird stalemate point where neither player has enough military kind of condensed in a single space to do any real damage.
Yeah, it feels like it. And this is like, the map is so weird to play and no one really has figured it out properly yet to get any big consistent advantages here. It just feels like the villager rush kind of is an option. People are trying to play against it, but even then you're giving up so much map control. It's just like you never get into a stable game here, and that's why the army numbers are just so low.
Yeah, I do love this play though from Jordan, looping a fire galley all the way around the backside of Barles' base to start harassing these fishermen.
Ooh.
That's 8 villagers now that have to retreat from collecting food. He also did bring a bunch of vills down to the south to drop a mill and collect some fish of his own, avoiding the fire galley of Barles. So for food generation, I think Jordan's going to be in a better spot for the next minute or two. Ooh, and another cheeky tower. So he did loop all the way around. Barles caught it, though, in his vision and is bringing up a counter tower. Should stop that 1 vill tower from going up.
And, oh, now some archer harassment at the gold from Jordan. He's still trying to micro against the skirmishers here. And it just feels like the economy is now stabilized a bit. Jordan tries to rush out that tower at the gold. I don't think he should lose a villager against only 2 archers without fletching.
No. And they're targeting the woman who's running away towards the TC anyway, so we'll get that one up in defense. Is bringing up a market of his own at home. Taking the engagement over the fire galley in the south. Now, of course, this does mean that Barles knows there are 6 villagers down there, so he's bringing his now 5 archers and skirmisher that way. Jordan's going to have to make sure that he has those fire galleys there to protect.
This is so interesting. Just feels like Jordan has enough water control. That gives him such a big advantage there in food. But I'm saying that, and Barles actually finds those villagers, can push those away, and they are running into a weird direction.
Yeah, first running south. Now they think better of it. Let's run towards those fire ships that can help us out. And he brings the land forces over as well. And still without fletching means that Barles isn't a great threat to those villagers without numbers. But he has 2 scouts coming in as well to start to push away the skirms. So militarily at this point, at least on land, Barles is starting to look good. Wow, forces a tower up as well by the wood line for Jordan as a result.
Okay, Jordan a bit on the scared side, obviously heavily on stone, and couldn't really get his own towers up on the front. So feels like, okay, maybe just the defensive one is a bit better. And now Jordan again, right? Pushed away from food. Could be some idle TC time for him. 0 on food, 23 food in the bank. Oh, this is horrible.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, we already talked about how the idle TC time for Jordan was giving a solid villager lead to Barles, but we can see that ticking up in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Almost 4 minutes of idle TC time now for Jordan as he throws a mill down on the berry bushes in the center, but gonna get harassed there as well by these scouts.
Oh, and that's even, you don't even need to kill the villagers. You just need to stop the food income right now, because Jordan now 43 food again, and there will be again more idle TC time. Great play by Barles.
It's every 25, 30 seconds, right? You get a vill lead if your opponent is not building a villager. So just by forcing that idle time, Barles is consistently pushing himself ahead. Again, another tower now Jordan feels like he has to put down in the middle of the map just to have enough safety to bring in some food.
Yeah, I absolutely love this tower. Maybe long overdue, could have maybe controlled this a bit more, but just felt okay, I had Shorefish at the side. Now the scout's dealing with all the skirmishes, Barles dives in deep, but loses all of his army, while Jordan, he's fine trading this one off because he feels, okay, finally time to breathe.
Yeah, Jordan had managed to sneak in fletching somewhere in there where Barles still did not. And so with 5-6 archers, it's enough damage output from Jordan to be able to push away the scouts and the skirmishers and now take the military advantage for himself. But again, down 5 villagers overall, he's got to look to find his way onto the offensive. And that gold might be the perfect thing to target.
Barles only 60 stone right now. Would have loved to see a tower there at the gold. Is trying to defend his own shorefish at home. And those villagers moving out, but they will be dead.
Oh yeah, all 4 of those villagers running to their doom on the south side of the map. Great pickups from Jordan. It's going to help even up the villager count. The question is, does he see that tower going up in the back of his base, just catches it, and now dropping a counter tower on his wood line as well?
But that means attack in the center again. Those scouts now have armor. Barles still tries to run those 4 scouts. I don't think there will be enough though. Jordan should out micro this.
Wow, Eco KD 7-1, but we are still a 7 vill lead for Barles.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, that's just all the idols you see for you. Need a player with wheelbarrow, scouts diving in deep. I don't like this engagement with the fire galley though.
Yeah, I don't either, although maybe with the armor it's enough. He is going to sacrifice quite a bit of scout lives. Is bringing in 2 fire galleys of his own, though. Going to be able to clear this up.
Wow, that went way better for him than I expected.
Yeah, myself as well, to be honest. Managed to clear up most of the archers, as well as the fire galley. Saves that villager as well, so he still has a forward villager who's now going to attempt to drop a dock on the south side. Jordan bringing reinforcements, though. This might be enough for him to take out at least the land army. The issue is pushing back those fire galleys.
That means guaranteed shorefish for Barles, while Jordan doesn't really get it. Has a sneaky villager to the left-hand side. Could maybe see something there. And Barles now with horse color. Wouldn't be surprised if he soon starts dropping down like 6-7 farms around his TC.
Yeah, Barles' food situation is looking so much better. 25 on food with already double the food count in the bank. He starts to expand out to the western side, dropping a lumber camp, bringing tons of villagers over to the shorefish as well to keep bringing that in. He's going to start racing his way towards Castle Age. Jordan continuing to expand with towers in the middle to at least try and lock down these berry bushes for himself.
But lost all the gold villages now. And you were saying towers are so good to control. And I would have loved to see a tower for Barles at the gold. There could have given him some more control. And now he has nothing. Yeah, food economy is looking good, but that's not enough.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And all of those villagers on the right-hand side in the south are kind of vulnerable. Lucky for him, Jordan doesn't catch them out and is instead rotating around the top side of Barles' base. But much more even is the vill count at this point. And with those 2 towers up in the middle of the map, Barles can't find the kind of damage he wants on the food eco anymore from Jordan.
Archers now moving in. Again, Barles needs to run villagers, and Jordan, he likes his KD, and he can't believe that he could even be still behind in villagers, although he killed 15 economic units.
I know, he probably feels like he's done so much work when it comes to those kills, but in fact, he is still behind in the villager count. Brings some villagers of his own forward to try and batter down this turret that Barles wants to drop to protect the gold with the scouts in tow. He will be able to get this one up, it looks like.
So desperately needed. Where are the scouts going? Jordan is running away with his army. Nothing on water really helping out. Now fishing ships being added. Interesting. Maybe just some shorefish? Wow.
Yeah, where are those being added to? In the south is one, and actually some in the north as well. Okay.
Those scouts.
Jordan's army as well. In the back, going to clear up those scouts. There will be a few archers left, along with 1 pike. So if they find that wood line...
We had the big rush through the center that we completely missed. Oh, that was a lot of...
Oh my god!
Skirms were pushing this one away, but not enough. And Jordan gets the tower up. Oh boy, he pulled a lot there, apparently. And now, Barles knows, okay, if this tower goes up and I will never get gold, the game is over.
Oh my goodness, what a play from Jordan. He brings Vils forward to batter down the tower. I'm going to say turret again. That Barles dropped on his gold, gets a tower up of his own, and Barles is completely shoved off of that important resource. He's going to have to look for it somewhere else on the map. I don't even know if he's scouted that one way up to the top left or not. But as I say that, Jordan finds those villagers on the wood line with the 4 archers. Now, those archers have fletching. They will get kills.
One for now. Skirms are finally coming over, and finally fletching for Barles as well. Will clear up those archers. Is running around, and he has no idea about that gold. And look at all the exposed villagers at the bottom. Barles needs to run, but where is he running?
I don't even know. He doesn't even know, I don't think, at this point, because the closest safe space is that tower to the left-hand side, or the TC. And he's splitting up the vills, but 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers go down. Some are idle. It's falling apart for Barles.
Feels like it. Oh, goddy. And wanted to run down to the left-hand side, but needs to get the tower up there. And it's close to all of them dying. Look at the KD now. 31-2. What are we witnessing here? How many villagers is Jordan killing? And finally has the lead in workers.
It's absolute destruction, Nili. And we come back to this idea that you dropped that forward stable, the forward archery range, and look, he's running skirmishers back across the map, producing and running them back across the map to deal with those archers from Jordan. Jordan, in all of this time, manages to save for the Castle Age and clicks up. Barles is light years away from the same thing.
Oh, bloodlines, +1/+1. Those scouts are mighty scary, but if they're only attacking the towers, the villagers won't mind that too much. And now archers are coming over for the defense. Jordan defends his gold. What a crazy game.
Jordan has killed 31 eco units and only lost 3 in this game. That is wild to me. Absolutely wild how he managed to find those kills. And at this point, he's preserved quite a few of his archers. So he's going to have good crossbow numbers when he hits castle if Barles can't find a way to lessen those.
And those skirms, they maybe want to lessen the archer numbers, but they were so low on HP, so not really going to happen. And Barles, yeah, 17 on food, 55 food in the bank, no gold control.
Yeah, and 7 of those food workers are the fishing ships in the north that Jordan has now found again with a fire galley. So those are not long for this world. A really tough position that Barles finds himself in, likely forever feudal. And so I'd almost be looking for another 1 or 2 stables to be dropped, and for him to just go mass scout production as soon as he sees Jordan hit Castle Age.
Oh, wow. Let's take a look here. And Barles, what is his thought process now facing Castle Age? What's the tower? Tries to block the gold, but yeah, he realizes no more chances. 2-0 for Jordan.
There it is. Wow. Wow. What a turnaround for Jordan. Again, from all the pressure that he suffered early, the idle TC time, the lack of food that he had, but he found a couple really good military engagements, was able to pick off enough villagers and understand the importance of that gold for Barles. I think that was the play, Nili. Pulling those villagers forward, battering down that first tower, getting one down of his own. That really spelled disaster. That was the nail in the coffin, I think, for Barles.
Hi, what a wild game. And Jordan with so much idle time, but he simply found so many kills. It just felt like Barles needed more towers himself. They're only 1 minute into the game, so no big problem here. And civilizations will be no Japanese, but actually we see Barles going for Mongols, while Jordan is looking at Gujaras here. Interesting. Huh. Okay, Mill now in the back, wants to get his herdables in there, quite obviously. Extra resources, didn't really find all of them. Continues to push from the center, no, just scouts around a bit more. 3 on wood for him, and that means no dock, while Barles sends out a villager quite early. So will be the dock approach from Barles and Jordan. Will be interesting to see how he approaches this one. Maybe some more deer that could be pushed. Jaras, if we get to the mid game, could obviously quite easily dominate with Shivamshas, with the better camels. And Barles would need to go for a lot of camels himself, maybe some crossbows as well, to make some of them castle age. Stab Lancers, I don't think they would be a great option against Gojaros here.
I don't know what's going on. Every time I try and load in now, I get stuck on the load screen.
Okay, well then let me find the ID.
No, it just took 14 years. Okay.
Okay.
I'm in. Alrighty. Sorry everybody for my technical ineptitude, but we are in.
Deep fish.
Oh man.
For Barles now being taken with the villager and the fishing ship.
I was gonna say they gotta live up to that Doubt Nikov game though at this point on this map. I'm curious how both of them, assuming they watch that series as well, are going to kind of internalize the learnings from that game, right? The importance of understanding the control of the three kind of hills in the middle, right? Where we saw Nikov fight very hard to remove that castle from Doubt in the middle and take control of the stone, but without gold as well, doesn't matter how many castles you have if you can't produce any of your gold units in the end. And that's where Doubt was kind of able to wear him down, buying stone to keep his singular castle on the right-hand side of the map up the whole time. So Gojaros Mongols, obviously very different civs from the last time around that we saw this map. Mongols going to want to eventually get onto a fair number of castles and start producing those Mengadai. Gojaros a little bit less dependent, of course, on their castle.
Is Mengadai such a good unit, though, against Gojaros?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? Shivramsas are going to be very happy to be built in the face of a Mongols player.
Camel's also not bad, right? The damage output is crazy.
Sure.
So I think Barles, actually, like, not even sure if Mengadai is one of his main unit plans here. Maybe could just play very, like, Camel crossbow heavy and try to punish the Gojara player that way.
That would be an interesting take. We already have a difference in the build order for both players. Early dock up for Barles in the back, 2 fishing ships out, as both players are on their way to Feudal for Jordan, ignoring the fish on the south side. I say that, we see a villager making his way down there now.
Yeah, has a lot of wood. He is not on gold here, Jordan, so will be a stable opening from him. So pretty even in that regard. Both players will be a very reasonable approach. And Barles, unlucky for him, just scouted the pond. And the villager arrives now.
Ooh. Oh, and that's going to mess with his head, right? Because he's now thinking, okay, my opponent has foregone going to fish and will likely play with that information in his brain, not knowing that the dock is going up now. Stable for Jordan. Just goes up. On the other side, we have the archery range up already and the walls going down. Really like the walls already from Barles as well. Protecting this left-hand side, walling across the front of his TC with his military buildings. We'll have a nice cozy base soon enough for him.
Bit surprised.
Jordan.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Bit surprised that we didn't send the spearmen to the top. Like, that's such a good angle of attack here. Scouts can go in there, and those fishing ships will be harassed.
Yeah, does get the camel scout into the back. Starting to harass the fish here from Barles. But Spearman is making his way over, so likely won't lose any. Possibly one fishing ship goes down. It depends here.
Well, more scouts could maybe go for that angle. Archer and Spearman out through the center. Jordan maybe sees that. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, sees it instantly. Nice move.
Yeah, just takes a single point of damage there from one of the errant arrows. Did manage to take down one fishing ship in the back before being chased away by the spear. Now bringing 3 of his scouts forward. And walls are going up for Jordan slowly as we speak. Archery range as well. Going to start producing some skirms in defense.
Oh, that's tricky now. Scouts in, unprotected area here for Barles. The camel could go in, unprotected area. Another scout at the front, just annoying. Jordan just really active on this map.
Yeah, 3 scouts plus the camel scout now in. I don't think that singular spearman is going to be enough, and that's why Barles has another one making his way back to the fishing eco. Blacksmith going down for him on the front of his base, so looking to get fletching in as quickly as possible to start to deal with some of this scout pressure that comes in on the wood line. Not going to find a vill kill, just force a little bit of idle time and then get pushed away themselves. Spearman gets a hit. And on the other side, we've got Jordan completing his walls on the left-hand side, going to keep those 2 archers out, as well as the scout, and going for a blacksmith of his own.
And now popping out with the skirmishers. We'll get some damage done there. High HP scout though, so that's actually pretty fortunate for Barles. And Jordan's just happy to snipe down the archers apparently. Then might
Yeah, he did just produce one spearman, so the spearman is coming to protect those skirmishers. So trades one skirmisher's life for 2 archers and a scout. He's going to feel happy about that one. Relieves all the pressure on his base. Will allow him to get the walls up on the right-hand side of his base without really any contest. And looks like we're settling in for another cozy game here.
Fire galley forced. And I think those scouts and the camel can actually kill this fire galley. And that's not how Barles envisioned this one, I'm sure.
No, not at all. They will absolutely win that fight. And now it's 4 scouts versus 4 fishing ships, rather. All of those are going to go down unless this spear can get back in time to save any of them. They are low health scouts at that.
Let's take a look. Oh, that's last hit. Okay.
Yeah.
2 down. Jordan, he can continue to be annoying there. And Skirm, Spear, getting over to the other side as well. And Barles even forced to add a scout. Oh, that will be late.
He's running ring around the rosy around him. He split the scouts into 3 individuals, and he looped the 2 back to start dealing damage to the fishing ships as the camel scout pulled the spear away. Spear, though, does now find a kill in return.
Skirm's through in the middle.
Oh, there was a hole between the house and the archery range, and Barles wasn't looking. But he does get the trap on the skirm's gate double house. And so now these 2 women are going to take the fight uphill. That one could take a little while to complete. And in fact, one of his vills may actually go down.
Let's take a look. Needs to run out then. Fletching now, and Skirm's not really fighting back. What a fight.
A little cage fight. This is pretty hilarious. I mean, great move, though, honestly, out of Barles to just make sure that this is as far as that pressure goes.
Pretty lovely move. Jordan's castage timing, I thought, should have been way faster. I'm a bit surprised. Food economy really suffering, apparently, with this heavy opening here. Scouts into skirmishes, into lots of upgrades. Now the
I was going to say, he already invested into fletching. Now getting the armor for his skirmishers as well. Means he'll be able to deal with these archers that are forward from Barles, no problem. But as you say, it's a big investment. Also, is there not a hole right between the wood line and that house?
Where?
On the right-hand side? Like, on the side that he built the market and that he's getting pressure? Oh, no, there's a bush back there. I finally clicked on it. Okay. Like, near the hill, there's a house, and it looks like there's a
I'm probably
space,
using a different tree mod than you. For me, it's like...
Oh, are you using the pine tree?
Yeah. It looked
okay,
like...
so yeah, it's a bush for me, so it's absolutely invisible.
No.
All right, Barles finally dealt with those skirmishers that were in his base, deletes the house and the gate to open some space back up. But he does retreat from his forward position, putting pressure onto Jordan's walls. Market will complete. Second archery range going up for Jordan as well. And now we're looking towards the castle edge. But Barles will be the first to click.
Okay. Jordan won't mind it too much, though. I'm a bit surprised that we go for the second archer range. Isn't playing like full Shiramsa style like some others would. He's adding some skirmishes first. Maybe wants to play it a bit more boomy.
Yeah, it's a little peculiar as the Gujaras to be going into a double archery range. I agree. Just now clicks. So about a minute behind Barles. Barles bringing in horse collar now. Jordan without horse collar. Barles hasn't moved anyone onto stone just yet. So what do you think it is? Triple TC for both players and just boom it out?
I think
or if you're Barles, do you try and come forward and actually control the stone early?
Well, you can't really TC that area, right? I think it's 3 TCs at home. Maybe play some crossbow camel. That's your typical army composition against Gojaus if you're scared of the cavalry units. But we're facing double archer range, so it's actually not that easy.
Yeah, I do love Barles' military activity in this kind of down period while both players go up to castle. He's got archers on both wood lines right now, harassing Jordan quite significantly.
Okay.
Not going to find any kills, though, as the skirmishers push them away.
Archer's now moving out at the right side. Kind of interesting. Against the earlier timing from Barles. Jordan, that's a ballsy move. He could be running into quite something here.
Yeah, TC1 goes down as the crossbow and bodkin upgrades come in. 10 seconds away from bodkin being completed. If Barles catches that force, he does in vision. So he's now going to look for a little bit of an engagement, maybe some snipes on these archers, reduce those numbers from Jordan. Jordan wanting to take the fight before he sees the crossbow upgrade come in. But he's fighting uphill right now.
Crossbows
Does get a
away.
pick.
Nice catch. Reduces the numbers.
Yeah. Honestly, very nice for Jordan. He traded essentially evenly with a feudal army. So reducing those crossbow numbers is going to feel very good. His right side wood line is free of any harassment. He's dropping a university at home. He did have to relocate one of his wood lines throughout all of that. Elephant archers?
Not sure if that is a misclick, maybe. Unlikely. The thing is, though, Jordan has an interesting approach here. He actually adds instant ballistics, like university, only one town center after that. So will be the more boomy approach by Barles, while Jordan goes for the more aggressive approach.
Yeah, still waiting for that ballistics click. He has the resources for it. There it is. 1 minute away from that. And then, as you said, 3 TCs kind of working away here from Barles. We've got Wheelbarrow coming in now, so steady eco advantage going to build for Barles over time if he doesn't take any losses. Elephant Archer making his way over to deal with these 4 crossbows, and he will be able to do that. 230 health on one of those bad boys.
We'll scare them away at least. And now the skirmisher defense here for Barles with Mongols. Not your typical unit you want to go for. And, finds a villager kill there at the front. More walls at the right-hand side, not fully completed yet.
Yeah, Barles already reacting to that Elephant Archer sighting by bringing in Elite Skirmisher for himself. Jordan forward with a small force, but not going to be able to find any damage getting through these walls at the moment.
Yords don't have any armor, so could shoot through those quite quickly, as you can see. And Barles doesn't really know. Now has to build some more houses, but double TC setup. I don't think Jordan really wants to dive here.
No. Garrisoning as we speak. Jordan going to start to retreat, although Barles letting those 4 crossbows out of his archery range, and they go down immediately to the ballistics of Jordan.
Maybe you thought Jordan was trying to run, but that Elephant Archer is tanky.
Look at that.
Gets away.
He's going to go down, down in the end. He gets away with 4 HP.
Oh, too funny. And yeah, that one took, forced quite some idle time. Jordan 30C behind this.
Yeah, 3rd TC outside the base, so feels comfortable enough to expand since he's got his forces forward pressuring the front of Barles' base. Now 7 Elephant Archers out onto the field. It's a formidable force that you're going to have to deal with as Barles. And looks like ultimately his answer is still just Elite Skirm. Elite Skirm boom, Elite Skirm boom. He does have an 11 Vil lead. So ultimately that feels good. If things were to be left untouched from this point in the game, Barles is going to be happy with his Imperial Age setup.
Stable now from Jordan. Oh boy. I kind of would have liked to see a siege workshop at the front. He knows he has the army advantage. He already invested so much into his military, being the Elephant Archers and ballistics. I think he needs to use it a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. What is he, really what is he achieving with this map control that he has? So I would want to see one of 2 things. Like you say, either increased aggression and continue to push forward with the siege workshop, or at least move out and start actually taking control of one of the 3 hills.
Yeah, maybe collect some
Barles does have 4 crossbows on the left-hand side patrolling to make sure he catches Jordan if he does go for that gold. Jordan's doing the same with an Elephant Archer on the right-hand side. There's that siege workshop you wanted.
Yeah. Gilnet's now coming in for 6 fishing ships. Will take some time to pay off. And Jordan, does he want to go in now with the Elephant Archers? Just to keep the opponent honest?
Possibly. We saw how much of that TC fire they can tank. So, but he's also bringing Shirvamshas forward. So those are going to be happy to run straight through the TC fire. But with a monk already on the field, Jordan forced to delete.
And now the skirmishers are out. Elephant Archers not too happy here. There will be a lot of damage output, and some Elephant Archers are dying. Only now the Shirvamsha joins the party.
Yeah, Jordan trying to micro those crossbows away and up onto the hill. But as you say, a couple of those elephant archers go down, and those are expensive, expensive units to be losing. Skirm defense, as long as they can hold the front of the space, I don't think Barles is unhappy.
Jordan forced into another delete defensive castle now here. And that mangonel aggression, well, can't really come from the right-hand side because the castle will defend that. But still, Jordan holding the center control.
Yeah, university as well for Barles in the back of his base. With this castle going up, Jordan's going to have to choose to rotate his pressure to the left or the right-hand side. Not going to be able to push up the gut anymore. Moving Vils out to stone, though. Jordan now finally feels comfortable with his control over the center of the map.
Yeah, rightfully so. Right, Shivamsa's now sent to the left-hand side, scouted those crossbow, and nice vision overall. Jordan now goes for the first of 5 relics. Husbandry
Jordan
as well.
is also badly housed. He's got 2 houses going up now, no longer housed, but he was housed there for about a solid 30-plus seconds, which is a little brutal when it comes to the military and villager production. Barles has now extended his villager lead all the way up to 20, and his food count is starting to look pretty good as well.
Jordan not finding a lot of damage. Like, those has been, like, really underwhelming, like, 2-3 minutes. Like, Shivamsha's moving in, not finding anything. Mangonel not finding anything against the castle. And maybe one good shot here for good measure.
Looking for it.
Not even that.
No, not so much. Half damage to a couple of skirmishers. Second shot, a little bit better, but even Barles managed to micro away from that a bit. Mangadai production is underway. Castle safety on the front of his base. And this siege workshop really hasn't achieved much. And he's, in fact, producing another mangonel out of it. Jordan now feeling the pressure, like he needs to retreat just a bit. Brings his forces back. And Barles clicks up.
Interesting that Jordan actually commits to a long castle edge here. Shivamsha's now maybe diving for those 3 monks. I think good commitment spot.
Yeah, looks for the picks. He does get one conversion. Wow. 2 conversions come through, though, out of the 3 monks. While they all go down, Mangonel pops at the exact same moment. Shivamsha is looking to clear up the skirmishers. Mangadai firing away, but from below the hill, and elephant archers can move forward. Will be a cleanup from Jordan, but honestly, I don't think this feels too bad for Barles overall, knowing that he's on his way to Imperial Age, and all he really lost there was 10 skirmishers, a few monks. Because if Jordan doesn't have Imperial Age, as Barles with this castle up, I'm not really fearing losing too much military because there's not a ton of damage that can follow that. I say that Jordan wants to run Shivamsha's in. He feels the pressure and like he needs to deal damage, but a great house wall from Barles means they're stopped before they can do so, and a couple go down.
Quite atypical move from Jordan there, going through, kind of hoping that the opponent does a mistake. I think he could have even gone through the houses there, but maybe the barracks probably blocked this one off. Jordan now secures the left-hand side, and Barles, even though he's getting to a really good army composition, like, how is he controlling gold here?
That is a good question, right? And he's got 26 on gold currently. How much does he have left in his base? He's only got 1,200 gold left in his base currently, so he's going to have to do enough work to get forward. And in fact, as I say that, getting pushed off of his attempted castle here at the front of his base, enough so that he chooses to delete it, actually.
Is Barles out of stone? Oh, he still has 1 mining camp at the front, but not really going for it right now. It's the main spot that the villagers just came from.
Oh, drops another mining camp, so thinks better of his castle placement, but does have enough in the bank to drop one when he chooses. Jordan's castle on the left-hand side goes up, so full control over that gold. Currently, built an armored elephant as well, only to go down on the front side.
Ramshas again coming in. Now we're going for the castle edge upgrade. All food units, military units, minus 25% food investment. A crazy upgrade.
Barles, though, has done a great job of keeping his Mangadai numbers alive. I will say that, in producing them from castle. These 11 in Mangadai have 14 kills on them. So preserving that force is big. He's got chemistry, Parthian tactics coming in now. We'll reattempt that castle on the hill. From there, I think he hopes to either push forward into the stone or farther over to the right to get gold control. Jordan, though, as well, dropping a castle in the center of the map. to deny a fair amount of that stone plot to Barles. Barles, though, first to Imp. No trebs out onto the field just yet. No siege to deal with Jordan's castles, but plenty of upgrades coming in for his light cav as well. 14 light cav in the queue, by the way, Nili. First armor upgrade coming in now. Wants to do significant raiding.
Yeah, Elite Shivamshas, though, on the way as well, so they want to do significant raiding as well. More stables from Jordan. His economy looks reasonable. Stone control for Jordan, not that pretty. Balt sends quite a lot of villagers in the center.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't even complete the mining camp, just goes for it. As Jordan loops his Shravamsas over to the right-hand side, will cross paths with those light cav that are just looking to make their way into his eco, and will look to chase them down. Barles now dropping a whole bunch of barracks at the front of his base, pikemen and armor upgrades coming in. Feels like he's kind of undecided. Was initially going for that light cav route, and now starts to pivot towards an infantry line to deal with the Shravamsas, Nili.
Oh man, and big problems here for Balt. Still no gold control. Now the right-hand side will be the main story. Some Shivamsas here. Jordan is trying to go for the castle. Will not be able to start this one, but can easily send some more units. Big dive in the center.
Huge dive in the center. We're underneath both of Barles' castles here as Barles is trying to navigate the Mangadai away to safety. Shravamsas is looking to deal as much damage as they can. Plenty of units going down, but if he runs ring around the rosy around these castles, then Jordan's throwing away a solid number of Shravamsas. Pikes coming out on the field now too. Those are going to start eating those up.
Oh man, nice moves here by Jordan, and gets more control, right-hand side control as well. Castle will go up, and so many more raids, even at the top. Got into at the left-hand side, not enough houses from Balt. Jordan is swarming everywhere.
I was going to say, on that wood line there, where they're making their way into Barles' base, he had a crossbow there for probably the last 5 minutes of the game. That was dealing damage to that wood line and kind of just harassing Barles. Gets a couple of the Shravamsas through, and the eco is just in shambles all of a sudden for Barles. Lower in the villager count, more idle villagers at that, and less military to boot. Jordan is just having his way with the mobility game at this point.
Absolutely love to see it, and sends in more economy behind this, just so good. Gets onto some of his disc throwers as well to deal with those pikemen eventually. So many castles, so much control. And Balt, he's not getting onto gold.
No, Nili, look at the eco KD. 52-7 in favor of Jordan. This whole right-hand side of the map completely open. The wood lines being attacked by Jordan. The Mangadai not enough to deal with the Shravamsas. Finally bringing some pikes over to buy himself some space and get back onto those lumber camps. But as we say that, take a look back at the farming eco as well. We've got Shravamsas doing damage there too. All three of the center hills have castle control from Jordan.
Absolutely beautiful how he's playing this one. And that means no extra stone, no extra gold. And how do you get onto Elite Mass Mangadai? You don't!
Oh, and there it is. Barles feels the pressure. He could never extend beyond his walls, and Jordan takes the third game in a row. Wow.
This looks dominant. Looks dominant. And
it
this
is
unit,
just dominant.
Like Shivamsas, like trying to fight them, you can maybe do something in Castle Age, but you need to put on the pressure, and Baltz just played really defensively there. It just felt like crossbow plus camel, kind of what most players approach to play against Gojaras, but Baltz had a dream there with Mangodai, but that dream got shattered by the Shivamsha.
He did have a dream. But Jordan just, again, such a phenomenal job playing the mobility game and attacking on multiple angles, right? Understanding that, okay, fine, if you want to go for Mangadai, again, you kind of have to have a centralized force. You need to keep those Manganai numbers together for them to be effective. So I'm going to split some of my Shravamshas to the left, some to the right. I'm going to raid your farming eco, your wood eco, and then I'm going to take castles and I'm going to control the center of the game with that castle map control that I had. That Castle Age map control that Jordan was able to establish is what gave him the space to move out and drop these castles before Barles could do the same.
Mm-hmm. And Baltz was like 10, 12 villages ahead, I believe, there. And
at least at one point he was even close to 20, I think, in late Castle Age. And we look at the Vil counts now, 77 to 130 at the end of the game. Jordan, the rating, 80 eco KD to 7.
Oh, that's just pretty damn sweet for sure. Hoi, 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 hoi.
Masterclass in control right there.
he's actually opting for Arabia and is going for a wild civilization here. And you will tell me when you get into the game. Jordan,
I'll let you know.
Is playing the Franks. Pretty standard for this map. Obviously loves to play with all the aggression. And Barles, he's going for Burgundians. An economic civilization that doesn't want to face too much pressure early on. Let's see if Jordan will give him enough time to get to all the eco upgrades.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to choose to take a civ that's most likely going to be under quite a bit of pressure, right? Because you're kind of playing into what Jordan has shown you he's capable of doing already, which is taking complete control of the map and setting himself up for the late game.
Yeah. Now the houses at the front, those kind of look like he wants to wall the big area. Yeah. Now I'm curious. Look at that, Barles. He wants to wall, like he wants to scout everything. But this map is so open to wall. I think this feels very, very risky if he wants to go for mass eco upgrades here. I think you have to play solid Feudal Age and maybe squeeze in the second wood upgrade, but that's the maximum you will get allowed.
I might need you to send me the
Okay.
the URL for this one.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, now the next boss coming in. House late for now. Kind of indicates that Barles maybe wants to play something like pop 20 scouts himself. While Jordan just happily pushes in some more deer. Already got one in. And now might be even thinking about the third one. 2 more Wilds and then Loom. So pop 19 play from Jordan.
All right, so looking to get active with some scouts early then, as the Franks. Always feels good too, with the immediate HP advantage. Before Bloodlines comes in, of course, for the opposing player. But yeah, Loom clicks for both players.
And last deer is being pushed in as well. No food upgrades.
Jordan left one of his deers. He left one of his deers to get scouting. So as Barles looks to maybe push his final one, Jordan is forward.
Both now starting to scout. Jordan goes for a second lumber camp, so no super shenanigans here. Played one of the non-super greedy, super aggressive build orders. And Barles expands to the top, so also splits himself pretty thin. Wow, this is weird. Like 6 villagers on wood at the bottom, 3 at the top.
Wow. Yeah, so 9 in total, and actually Jordan is going to catch this as well. With his scout pathing, he gets both of the lumber camps at just the prime moment, and will have scouted all of Barles' resources. He's going to see the forward stone. He's already passed the forward gold and the main gold as well. So great scouting out of Jordan. Barles still kind of way over here on the south side.
Should be just double scout here. No big things. The big question is simply, how many eco upgrades is Barles trying to squeeze in? How greedy is he going to get? I think second wood upgrade could make sense. I think second farm upgrade would be stretching it too much, and then Jordan just gets too much map control.
Yeah, so Jordan hits Feudal first. Stable goes down immediately with 2 villagers. Double bit axe for himself just to equalize the eco upgrades, or the wood eco upgrades, between him and Barles at this moment. Gets the farming upgrade for free. Always feels good as the Franks. And now the stable response here from Barles as he hits Feudal. Now Barles is only putting his stable up with 1 villager, following a later Feudal timing. And Jordan got his stable up with 2 villagers on a quicker Feudal timing. So already producing that first scout, already has a spear onto the field. So just timing advantage so far here for Jordan. Of course, the eco advantage, we assume, will eventually go the way of Barles if he does take advantage of those earlier upgrades in Feudal, getting the farming upgrade for himself just now to match Jordan before he drops and starts seeding those farms around his TC.
Only one farm upgrade. One villager exposed at the top. Maybe something Jordan could find. He saw 3 villagers at that woodline earlier. But, yeah, not getting too frisky here. Forces some quick walls, but Barles on point. Second scout can't really join the party. Jordan trades off some HP, but needs to find a different angle. Sends the spearman forward.
Yeah, he's got two spearmen forward, 3 scouts. But Barles has scouts and spearmen in defense. So it's just going to be a lot of dancing between these 2 players, looking for angles, looking for openings, trying to catch the other one while they're, dealing with something else, building up their eco or managing something else. But so far, a killless game between these 2.
Spearman count 3 for Barles. He kind of stopped there, which surprises me. He sees a lot of aggression, sees the forward spearman. Typically, you don't want to stop spearman production then. Scouts are there jumping in. No house blocked. Nice one. And spearman got 2 hits in.
Yeah, some nice hits from that spearman there. 4 scouts to 3, 3 spearmen to 3 spearmen. Relatively equivalent in those military numbers. Barles going for a massive wall on the right-hand side here, right as Jordan starts to loop around. Barles aware of it, though. Rotating his forces over now to try and defend that villager.
But spearman through the center, 3v3 fight there potentially. Gate to block this one off. Scout v scouts at the right-hand side. Jordan didn't hit for quite some time. Not the best fight for him. Commits now.
Yeah, commits now. Does have the hill, but because of the way that engagement started, as you mentioned, doesn't have the health advantage. And so ends up getting pushed away. Takes another engagement. Ill-advised here from Jordan, as he's going to lose all 4 of his scouts and only kills 2 from Barles in that engagement.
6-3
Does
KD.
effectively stop the wall.
And that villager's really low HP. Maybe Scout can push this one down. And Jordan also archery range behind this, so he doesn't mind to keep the opponent open with the trade to lose some scouts maybe, because those archers, they still want to find some damage.
Almost got the snipe on that villager. Barles able to get it away, though. Now brings 2 more villagers over to try, along with 2 spearmen, to complete this wall. Should be able to do so without too much difficulty at this point.
Will be a spearman, another spearman arriving. Archer and spearman behind this one as well. One scout being annoying. I'm not too sure. Even if it finishes, I think not every wall will be full HP. This could still be annoying for Barles. Could be false safety.
Yeah, bringing the tiger over too, just in case all of the military goes down. Yeah, archer spearmen arriving as well. So actually, exactly as you say, Nili. In fact, not even all of the walls are going to go up. Still a couple that haven't been tapped. And they officially get pushed away because the archers there, the ranged units there, means these spearmen are going to achieve next to nothing. So for all of that effort that Barles put into completing those walls, Jordan has his way into the back of the base.
Uh-oh, and there's no answer to that. Doesn't have an archer range. Can now build scouts again, but he didn't want to build anymore. Now slowly onto gold. Housed as well. It's looking rough for Barles. Beautiful aggression from Jordan.
Looking very rough. Just one skirmisher, one archer is enough to deal with all of those spearmen. So now it's about the scout production again, I think, for Barles, as well as some skirmishers of his own. He's going to move out to stone as well at the front of his base. As fletching comes in for Jordan, got that blacksmith up just a moment ago.
Let's take a look here. Fletching now. Is he committing against the spearman first? 4 villagers being pulled. He tries to maybe out micro the spearman. Pulls those away. Wow.
My goodness. The amount of time that Barles and energy that Barles has had to spend to get this wall up. 4 villagers being pulled at this point. Sure, he only has 22 seconds of idle TC time, but when you take into account how much or how often these villagers have not been working, Jordan's doing incredible work to get pressure down. Also takes a scout's life at the front of Barles' base. He's got 2 archers kind of smacking away at villagers trying to wall up. They're also going to get a peek at this stone, so they're aware that Barles is heavy on stone, especially for the feudal age.
So this is likely going to be costly a play. And then Jordan just needs to make sure to not stop with the monk production. Jordan needs to fokes on the relics quite heavily here, especially against Burgundians.
But Jordan has 20 farms at home, rather. Very close to his Castle Age click up as well, completing his walls, and hasn't really taken any pressure throughout this whole game. Blacksmith finally goes up here for Barles. Tower as well on the front of his base to defend that stone, to make sure he can stay on it long enough to collect for that first castle drop.
Jordan with a forward tower against this. Wow. Where's the other stone?
A bit much.
Well, he just doesn't want to, like... he realized, okay, your game plan is to get to Castle Age and play the long game, get to Costier, and I will take that away from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it going to be... When are these villagers even going to get here, though? Here they are. 2 villagers coming forward, and it's only a 2-ville tower at that, so... I think by the time this tower goes up, Barles is going to be at around 400, 450 stone, bringing in the stone mining upgrade right now as well as we speak, so may even be close to that castle point.
But doesn't
if he
have
buys
a
an extra
market.
100. Doesn't have a market, though. Ooh, great call.
Market, I could see that work a bit easier.
Yeah, I like it more now, Nili. I like it more now, this tower.
I think Barles just needs to build a market by 200 stone. That's the way to go here.
Yeah, he's also producing a few more scouts. I wonder if he actually moves out when this last scout gets created. He'd have 3 scouts. He could go deal with those 2 villagers.
Mainly looks for scout production. Maybe wants to contest the relics here. Goes for the archer at the right-hand side first.
Okay, clearing the skirm, then the archer, just freeing up his wood line a little bit to work without harassment. 523 stone in his hands when he hits Castle Age. The tower does go up for Jordan, though.
Can't hit
so he's going to look to... Yeah, can he reach them? I was about to ask. I was like, he's not targeting them at the moment.
That's underwhelming for Jordan.
Underwhelming for Jordan, but also just kind of a tough spot for Barles to be in, you know, taking this harassment as he tries to get that last 130 stone for a castle to go up. I imagine it will get plopped kind of right at the front of his base. Yep, there it is, to take out that tower. So castle will go up because of the walls. Jordan not going to be able to stop that one, but still great pressure from Jordan. Look at the top wood line. He's got archers there as well harassing. It's a really, really, really difficult position for Barles to navigate while Jordan has the freedom now to throw up a second TC back at home. A completely, you know, untouched eco. He hasn't probably had to worry about his base since minute 4.
Walded regardless is now going for some relics and tries to find something with his knights. But honestly, Barles can't mind the situation too much either, right? 4 eco upgrades. Even villager count gets the castle up. Relic control is manageable for him. Honestly, I think Barles might be in the better spot here.
Yeah, in the end, right? Completely matched 1 for 1 in the villager count, military count, and gets that important castle up to protect the front of his base. And he's feeling pretty good. Now, all that said, actually, the Burgundian player is behind on eco upgrades by 1. Second farming upgrade, of course, for the Franks comes in for free. Great bonus for them. Light cav upgrade now for Jordan. So recognizing that there might be a little bit of a battle over those relics as he comes out to the center of the map with his monk to try and pick that one up. Couselier out on the field.
Ooh, nice debate by Jordan. Might lose that scout, but yoinks that relic at the same time.
Does yoink the relic. Does Barles try and come forward and look for that monk. In fact, Jordan even mind gaming. Look at this big brain play. Running the monk to the top of the map, not directly home.
But Lightcap is coming from the left-hand side.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
He will be surprised.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Does Barles see it?
Oh, perfect!
He doesn't even need to see it. It was just perfectly stopped. Oh, my goodness. The monk goes down. The snipe on the left-hand side.
Oh, so good. So good for him.
That's a huge feels-good moment for Barles. And you know what? He needs feels-good moments like that in this game. He's making his way towards the south side to pick up a relic. Monk being guarded by 5 Couselier. Cleaning up the house and the tower on the front of his base. He now feels like he's got space to breathe and can drop a second TC on one of his wood lines. I say that. Jordan's already up to his 3rd TC, though, so we see that villager lead start to grow for Jordan, minute over minute.
Yeah, but still, like, Burgundians, I don't think they will stop with their aggression here. Like, they should be out on the map. They could get some more relics. And remember, like, a relic is basically worth 3 villagers for Burgundians, generating gold and food for you.
Very, very true. Will he get the monk as well with this very low HP Lycav? Doesn't quite. The knights are able to snipe it, but... Oh, and the convert comes through. So some value out of that monk for Jordan. But Barles is able to deny the relic at the very least. Retreats from this straight-up fight with the knights. No interest in taking that one just yet. Expanding himself now to the north with a 3rd TC.
What's the stone there? Fight in the center, sniped some monks. Casillas could now be microed back. Not the greatest fights here for Jordan, I would think, but can't be too unhappy with the conversions that he got.
14 villager lead now for Jordan, slowly creeping, but he does get housed right as I say that. And actually, he's very far from completing a house. He's dropping a 4th TC, though, so he's going into ultra boom mode here for Jordan. Wants to continue extending that eco lead. Feels like it's what he's going to need to kind of overrun the Burgundians and what they can produce.
The question is, like, what is the army composition going to be, though? Paladin? Don't think they're that much better than Elite Cossier.
No.
Halberdier also an option. Hand cannoneers are better. Like, they have everything just a tiny bit better, it feels.
I agree. And then, yeah, and then even throwing axemen don't really work because of the range of those gunpowder units and things like that. So it will be, I do agree. I think, in ideal compositions, Barles wins out. So there's going to have to be some element of outplay here from Jordan, or ingenuity in the way he takes engagements, or again plays kind of the pressure of the map. Trying to drop another stable out front his base, so wants to increase the production of those knights. The bread and butter for the Franks, but it also makes them somewhat one-dimensional.
3 conversions already. Now taking the fight here with the hill for Barles. And scares us away. I'm a bit surprised how Barles is constantly taking fights when monks are on the field. Rarely disengages against them.
Yeah, very intriguing. Although, with the hill advantage here, maybe wins that fight. No, thinks better of it. Looks to retreat.
Waits for another charge, and then wants to go into again.
Very low health on a lot of those Custeliers, so would look to bring those back, maybe get a monk out onto the field to heal those up. We talked a lot about the relics. In fact, there's still only 1 relic apiece for each of these players, so a lot of difficulty securing these, as both players have done a great job keeping units, scouting units around those relics to make sure that they're aware when their opponent goes for them. 4th TC now for Barles as well. He's happy to go late. He says, anything you can do, I can do better, Jordan.
What a boomy game, indeed. And Alcossi is now attacking at the left-hand side, potentially. Or at the bottom here. Jordan, no instant reaction. That could be some dead wills. No, he sees it.
He does see it, but his base is open. So they'll make their way into his eco. Dropping houses now to try and protect his wood line. Doesn't get the second one down, though. So the gold could be under threat. He's bringing all of his knights back at the moment to deal with this pressure. Ville's starting to go down for Jordan, but gets the walls up around his gold. Fantastic quick walling there to save the lives of those villagers. Absolute chaos in his base, but looks like he'll either shove back the remaining forces from Barles or kill them off within his eco. Losing a few vills to that. Still 20 vill lead, though, for Jordan at the conclusion of all of that messiness.
Another castle there to defend, and Barles apparently continues to play Cossiers. Doesn't care about the paladin option here. Could see some more conversions. I'm still shocked. Only 1 relic apiece, and yeah, as you mentioned, both players really actively trying to contest those.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan tracking these Custeliers around the left side very well. Making sure they're not going to get any more damage in on his eco. Yet another stable being dropped for Jordan, now up to 5 here at the front of his base. More raiding, though, from Barles on the south side, so I like to see this. Now that he's got his eco up and running, happy to throw away some units to start to disrupt Jordan's.
But only 1 armor upgrade. think especially if you want to sit under those TCs, second armor upgrade could have really helped you out here.
I very much agree with that. Look at this, though. Barles catching the TC drop on the far left side from Jordan. That's not going up. And if Jordan doesn't recognize it, every single one of those vills will go down.
And he might be distracted at the right side. Now University, only half a screen away, but apparently far enough. And Jordan, he needed a second building to imp, apparently.
Yeah, so rushing that one down with 6 villagers brings 2 knights over to defend. We'll save a couple of these TC villagers. I'm not sure I agree with sending them back, though. Yeah, Barles, he makes note of that, and he says, I'm going to snipe those 2 villagers before you get that TC down. Jordan having to send more reinforcements over to deal with that. So significant losses for him on the villager front. Both players up to imp. Barles with a slight advantage in that regard. And the ecos are relatively evened up now if we take a look at those villager counts.
Whoa, what a good game. Burgundians
A
here.
fantastic game. Great recovery out of Barles.
Now the third castle, basically the most important hill of the map.
That is like quite literally like the center pixel too of this map, or as close to it as you can get. That is the pinnacle castle right there. So Barles understands the importance of having that hill advantage. Oh, Jordan sees it too! Jordan's the first one to bring villagers out, though, but he does, okay, he thinks better of it as he sees the positioning of the military from Barles. Both players, though, rushing villagers out to get these castles up now. Jordan's will go up first, it looks like, but I have to believe...
Still a lot of knights.
Well, actually, that's a lot of knights. That's a lot of knights. Does Jordan look to contest it? He sees the villagers starting to work away on it right now.
I think there's a spot for
It's a
boarding.
nice little choke. It's a bit of a choke point, though, and he can't shove all these knights through this choke point. One conversion going to go through, but a conversion going through the other way. Way more knights than we have Coutelier. Not enough villagers bringing this one up from Barles, and he has to retreat. Nili, that was, I think, his opportunity. He needed to get control of that position of the map, and instead he's forced to retreat with a half-built castle. Huge numbers from Jordan, almost double the military, and still the villager advantage. Finally, the second upgrade comes in for this Coutelier, the armor upgrade that is, but he doesn't have the numbers to take these fights, entertains it, retreats again. Imperial Age hit for Barles first, looking for Trebs to be in production, but he needs those castles to produce his military units to fight with as well, so Pike will be the answer instead.
Ooh, gets quite some damage output now, and yeah, Pike, not the worst option, wants to go for Halberdier. Now Chemistry, Jordan knows, okay, Bombard Cannons, not unlikely to be a crazy unit here. Bit surprised that Barles didn't queue up any traps yet, when he knows this could be a castle v castle fight.
Yeah, at least does get control of the center again, so now brings quite a few more villagers forward to try and force this castle up, but first person to click a Treb is Jordan. And he comes forward again with knights to try and delay the timing of this castle. I think the castle goes up for sure this time because Jordan elects to take the fight against the military units. Pike's trading well, at least efficiently, against the knights. The castle does go up. Might be time for Jordan to retreat here with the knights. Instead chooses not to, and they all go down.
Oh, wow. And that was quite an ambitious fight. 1-1 upgrades. He is an Imperial Age and still decided to take this fight under the castle against pikemen and monks. Would have loved to see him wait for some more upgrades. Now transitions into pikeman himself, but will be so much later.
I was going to say, and Nili, this is where we come back to that earlier conversation about army compositions in Imperial and how much more difficult it is for the Franks because he's basically moving into the same composition that the Burgundians have. And he has fewer castles, fewer trebs. He's behind on the upgrades, as you mentioned. Here comes Elite Coustier as well.
Wow.
Trebs out onto the field for Barles, starting to pressure that center castle for the Frank player. Second Treb out onto the field for Jordan as well. He's dropped a bunch of archery ranges, though, and understands that he's going to have to find an answer to the infantry spam.
Traps in
and
danger.
Looks for those hand cannoneers. Wow, Treb's in big danger. Coustier come in with charged attacks. Makes it quick work of those two Trebs. They go down. And Jordan has no villagers forward to protect this castle. Won't be able to repair it at all. And in fact, he's going to have to retreat. Barles is on the front foot. Left-hand side of the map as well. Already halberdier raiding onto that stone. There is a castle in defense from Jordan. Dropping another one in front of the gold on the left-hand side of his base. But he's starting to panic, it looks like, and he's already running out of space. Barles is acting like a boa constrictor.
Indeed. Just constricting the area where Jordan can expand, and it just feels like Jordan, yeah, he got conscription out of that castle, but now needs to tech switch kind of and goes for pikeman, hand cannoneer. I think Elite Costier will be able to deal with this in those numbers.
I think so as well. Cav raid into the north for Jordan, looking for something, trying to pull some attention from his opponent, but castles in defense for Barles as well as TCs means they're not going to find too much, and the pressure continues on the front side. The production buildings are now under threat from the Trebs of Barles.
Cavaliers in the top squeeze through. Halberdiers can be maybe sent back for the defense. Barles, nice reaction, but just the pressure at the front. Not sure if Jordan can deal with that. Is getting onto reasonable hand cannoneer numbers now, and if he gets enough Halberdiers, well, those Costiers will struggle a bit.
Yeah, Halb hand cannon is the recipe for Jordan. Also in danger possibly of overbooming, approaching 150 Vils here. Continues to raid in the back of Barles' base though, forces some military units to come back to deal with those Cavalier. Jordan has a moment to breathe here, throwing up more and more barracks on the left-hand side. Really needs to get those numbers of Halbs up to give himself a bit of a meat shield for those cannoneers so he can start the pressure back the other direction. Costier coming in to snipe the bombard cannon. They'll get it. Trebs very forward at the moment.
Indeed. They want to go for houses. Look at all the houses there. Hallelujah. Quite.
Yeah.
And Costier, well, they're coming over for the defense. Is this a spot where Barles maybe could consider hand cannoneers himself? He would obviously have more damage than Jordan.
Absolutely. I think if he should recognize that the halberdier numbers are growing for Jordan, so the Costier are a little bit less important, while still valuable against the hand cannoneers, of course, and the mobility is nice. At this point, could probably match Jordan 1-for-1 in the army compositions. Halb hand cannon against Halb hand cannon, and the Burgundian player would come away with the win. Targeting the houses to open up a hole into the base as well. Jordan keeps spamming down the same house as it dies to keep the walls up for himself. Now looking for another castle in defense. The halberdiers doing work against the halberdiers on both sides. But he found a nice little pocket for his hand cannoneers to sit in. They're going to wipe up those halberdiers on the side of Barles. Again, some time to breathe for Jordan, but while all that's happening, Barles got another castle up in the north, so he keeps expanding his eco out to the left-hand side.
Yeah, really, really nice there for sure. Now another big fight in the center. Bombard cannon instantly dies. Those halberdier numbers are still looking reasonably well, though. And Jordan, he keeps himself more towards problem than Barles is.
It is 188 pop to 177. So just ahead for Jordan here. Trebs coming forward to try and put pressure onto that castle that's just now going up for Jordan. But with the Halbs coming forward, Barles again thinks better of it. Retreats to the safety of his castle. He's having some real difficulty here, Nili, trying to push through these early production buildings of Jordan. Jordan putting up a better, more staunch defense than I would have expected.
Well, he just goes full halberdiers, and Barles a bit stubborn with his unit choice here. Maybe now getting into some more hand cannoneers, 5 in the queue, but that looks out of 1 archery range. Doesn't really have the production yet.
Bombard cannons for both players, starting to dance around, look for the snipes. Looks like Barles still, though, slightly on the front foot. Starting to put stables up in the north as well, so possibly looking to throw in some light cav for raiding on the farming eco. Bombard cannon goes down to the Costier in the middle of the map, but plenty of lives lost to those halberdier in return.
Both players now struggling to get to population. 160 around for both, but Jordan calls it. Just realizes Costiers are too good and the raids were too big.
Yeah, well done by Barles, centralizing his forces, understanding, I think, that, you know, he has the better civ if both players kind of match each other 1-for-1 in what they're trying to do. And so protects his eco early in the game. Did so well to make sure that he could scale to this point. Costier, halberdiers, siege. That's enough to get it done against Barles, or against Jordan. 1 on board for Barles, and we're alive in this series.
Yeah. Really happy that Barles gets one here, and that also shows quite a bit, right? The first 3 games, it didn't feel like they were really going his way, and now Arabia, where you kind of feel, okay, the better player always should win. But he is showing that even with Burgundia, it's a weird civilization, he performed.
Yeah, weird Civ on Arabia. Again, coming all the way back to the map choice, right? Typically, you attribute Burgundians to a more closed map, but maybe this is part of Barles' idea here, in knowing that he has to mount a reverse sweep, right? Is throw some curveballs at Jordan, start to warp the Civ matchups by virtue of what's remaining in each of their drafts. Might be a little bit tougher now for both players to make their picks going forward.
Yeah, maybe. Will be interesting. We don't have two closed maps, right? And closed the only one. And...
Right, we have Kawasan, Rocky Forest, and Enclosed left.
Feels like Chinese on Enclosed. Rocky Forest, Aztecs, Portuguese, Kawasan for Jordan. On the other side, I would think maybe Cumans Enclosed. Japanese, Rocky Forest. And Italians or Khmer for Kawasan? I think at least Kawasan Jordan should have an advantage in the shifts.
Khmer. Wow, so this flies in the face of what we were just talking about to some degree.
Well, Khmer.
But again, go ahead.
We said like we need to see early uptimes, right? And Khmer, without being forced into the barracks, they can get to the archer range nice and early, and therefore can go pop 18 archers and can make a reasonable defense happen there if we face some minute arm aggression, for example.
Exactly. On the other side, would expect Jordan to play this one fairly straight up with the Aztecs. Probably drop that barracks and go for a drush. Lumber camp way to the left side here. For Barles.
But nay.
That is interesting. Like, very forward barracks. And he even wants to build it even further forward. Oh boy.
Ooh. Okay. Jordan's taking off the gloves here.
And Barles, does he see it? I think he sees it instantly.
Yep,
so good for him. Oh god.
Huge for him as he's bringing in his second boar now. Jordan's doing the same. So lockstep there between those players. Barles even going to push in a couple Ibex as well from the center to up that food eco.
Also another thing we have to mention about Khmer. Well, even if you face the drush, those villagers, they can fight back a bit and then jump into houses if they need to save themselves. So probably one of these civilizations that have the easiest defense against the drush.
Yeah, definitely first militia on the way for Jordan.
But
Both players with a couple more villagers in the queue. But likely we'll see those loom clicks in the short future. Jordan did scout out the wood line, so that will likely be the first thing he targets to harass. But as Nili called out, Khmer deal fairly well with this kind of stuff, just from the perspective of villager safety, having the ability to garrison them into those houses, and built 2 of them there.
Took Barles quite some time to click up here. 12 seconds out of villager time. Now 3 villagers on 2 gold. So indeed it is going to be the archer defense. And Jordan goes for 4 militia and an eagle. Didn't want to attack too early. And now goes for that wood aggression. And Barles, he can't fight that back with 6 villagers. That would be really rough.
No, so in fact, all of these villagers are likely going to have to go idle here.
Oh, that's annoying.
So far, he's willing to entertain the idea of a fight.
5th militia. Oh, Jordan with the extra gold, right? He didn't need to go down to gold.
I actually don't hate this move either. He's just targeting the house instead. He's saying, fine, I'll kill the house before you can go into it. And Barles, he feels the need to have to defend the house, in fact.
Yeah. Also in Dark Age, really poor armor, 150 HP. We need to see the repair. Barles is now doing that, and that will cost quite a bit. That might delay the archers. Archer range will still come out. And Barles even preemptively builds another house here. Could maybe see this one go down. Now Jordan back at it again. And that will make Archer micro pretty rough.
Oh, no.
Jumps into it.
Woo! Okay, saves those 2 villagers on low health, but Jordan's happy to move on to the next one. So it's all about the micro for Barles as he moves in the low health villagers and does manage to save all but 1.
But still, like, wood income won't be pretty. Archer range now coming out, and he sits at 77 food.
Oh, no.
With 0 wood income right now. He sends high HP villagers back.
I disagree with that. I think you just put all of your villagers on stragglers right now. Because this is idle time anyway for these villagers. I think these 5 villagers should be on stragglers. And you need to get archers and skirms out to deal with the militia. He is still microing fairly well to keep the villagers alive and slowly deal with this drush. But again, this is 5 villagers that are idle. Jordan's very happy with this, and he's kept them off of wood this whole time.
I can't believe that we don't have a single villager on food right now. Like, he's so desperate for wood that he forgot to... Like, soon he will have idle town center. Yeah, it's only 12 seconds right now. Okay, now he goes into berries. At least something.
Yep. Starts to move towards berries, but, I mean, again, still, he's got 5 villagers that are dealing with 3 militia. His first archer is out onto the field, so finally going to have some room to breathe here. But if we take a look over at Jordan's situation while all this is happening, 26 villagers... pushes the scout away from his berries, and he's up to Feudal, or he's clicked to Feudal at this point.
Really surprised by Jordan. With all this aggression, that he decided like 6 farms is his best approach. He could have easily gone for the deer in the center. Only now on
That's actually a really good point. Especially because he put the barracks out there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you're bringing your villager that far forward to drop the barracks in the middle of the map, you may as well continue playing around the middle of the map. But maybe he feels like at this point he's already done enough damage that the risk of being in the middle is Barles' one way back into the game. And so he's just taking the safer approach. See, really the only reason I can think of that he would go this route. And 50 seconds away from the feudal age, just now Barles is coming forward with his first archer. Not going to be too much of a threat. Is dropping the blacksmith at home, so wants to get fletching in to be a bit of a threat to some of those villagers. Jordan just going to pull 3 vills to push that archer away for the time being.
I'd have to accept the villager loss there. Gathered a total of 600 extra resources over his opponent, though. Had those villagers working for longer. Obviously adds tax efficiency as well. And now the scout could maybe get a kill. Jordan would ideally jump into the house as well. Not allowed to. And killed. The scout might get home with this one. Nice defense by Jordan. Now double archery range for the defense.
And while all that was happening, he actually snuck back in with the militia. Got a nice little vill snipe around the wood line without trading any militia lives. And there are a lot of low health vills still on that wood line. And Jordan's targeting them. Luckily, Barles sees it. He's able to get the vills over to the house in time. The man-at-arms or the militia, rather, are finally cleared up there. And then we go back over to Jordan's base on the wood line, now being forced to drop a tower to protect his wood line.
Archer still dancing here, gets one volley off. Jordan finishes his berries at the front. Could have even stayed there a bit longer with the skirmishers, but not really producing. He's fully out of wood. He can't even afford a single skirm.
Both players at a different point in this game, right, have really struggled for wood. But yeah, double archery range and 0 production does not feel good as a top-level player.
Oh man, and double archery range approach by Jordan. So surprising to me. I thought he would maybe play 1 archery range and 1 blacksmith, simply allowing himself to get the upgrades, trying to benefit from the faster production. Did he just cancel 2 skirms?
Yes, he did. And I'm very confused by it. I'm with you, Nili. I feel like single archery range, single blacksmith, of course, was the play. Because look how much food and gold he does have, right? If one of those archery ranges was a blacksmith, he'd already have fletching. And instead, the blacksmith is going up. Now, he's throwing 19 villagers onto wood. 22 villagers on wood for Jordan. That's 2/3 of his eco.
And 20 of them
He's
on
collecting wood.
Line. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, what is this? I get told all the time by high-level players that you can't have this many vills on a single lumber camp.
Well, let's see how Jordan transitions the way out of it. If he is floating 600 wood, you will stay right in the sense that it is a horrible mistake. But if he constantly keeps using those villagers and builds some more farms, maybe another mill even next to his wood line, then he transitions out of it quite nicely.
Jordan able to push away that little pack of archers from Barles. Still trying to find them, though, on the northern side. Game slows down just a little bit, but we do have scouts in production for Barles. I don't know if Jordan has seen that stable just yet. He is coming forward with his Eagle Scout.
No idea about those yet. Only now unleashed. And Jordan with mainly skirms won't be having the easiest task to defend that. Archer's going down at the top though.
Ah, yes. Okay. Jordan's going to be happy to have cleared those up. 2 scouts, 2 archers in the middle of the map. Barles is even you see Barles even thinks that Jordan should have gone to the food in the middle. He scoured that whole middle section with those 2 archers looking for villagers.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't find any because he was convinced that Jordan would have brought villagers out for food production.
Yeah.
But he didn't. All right, 3 scouts coming forward. Jordan, though, has a nice little force here to defend the gold. Walls go up preemptively, so scouts can't get in and should be pushed away. Has enough skirmishers to deal with the pressure of those 2 archers, even the 3 more that are coming forward. So unlikely Barles finds too much damage, but at least gets to keep his opponent's attention at home as opposed to in his own base.
And Jordan not really getting into any eagles yet, right? Ideally the army that you want to transition into at some point. So right now double archer range, and Khmer can't be super sad about that.
Yeah, and this is where I would start to say we look at the food count and the number of vills on food for both players. Khmer always have a healthy farming eco, and 13 farms down for Barles at this point to the 13 of Jordan as he seeds a couple more, so even in that regard.
Armor upgrade for those scouts.
Okay.
Showing
2,
some
3 spears though for Jordan. Still makes it a tough fight to take.
It's an ugly army, and Jordan, he will struggle to deal with this one properly. Like how much do we want to chase? So easy to run away. And that one single archer is actually so annoying.
That archer with, what is it, 5 health? 4 health even. But yeah, that archer alone could deal with the 3 spears that Barles or that Jordan has in defense. You can see they're microing away. Does get the hits, and the archer goes down. Big play by the spearman.
Yeah, actually, like, it is a bit of it sounds like an overhype, but it actually matters a lot here. Because that kind of meant he never really move out, so...
yeah, well, look at, and those 5 scouts at this point, they realize that being forward without any archers, they're not going to get anything done against the spears. They're trying to rotate around to the wood line now. There's already a spear there waiting for him. They do take the engagement, because with the armor upgrade, 5 scouts can deal with a spear. But... we also have that tower there for Jordan, so not too much damage going to be found for Barles. Back over to Barles' base. Jordan tries to move in for a fight. Barles looks for the pincer between him and the tower. Jordan thinks better of diving into the eco and will chase those skirmishers away towards the center of the map.
Okay, Jordan maybe looking to do some damage towards the gold then, right? Knows, okay, wood not really an option. Armor upgrade now for the skirms coming in for Barles, meaning Castle Age further away. Queues up 2 more scouts. Jordan on the way to Castle Age. This is maybe the moment where you drop 2-3 barracks.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see what Barles can do to deal with this pressure here. He's going to have the scouts coming forward looking to target the archers and the skirmishers. We're going to need the skirmishers and archers to deal with those couple of spears that Jordan has forward. And the chase continues.
Scum's a bit out of position here. Spearman trying to chase this one, but yeah, Jordan is just trying to buy himself some time. Knows if the army is away, he can easily get the transition onto his own eagles. And maybe just some damage here and try to snipe down the archers and scouts. Those are the only ones that can do some damage against the eagles. And Jordan, yeah, just buys himself time. That's totally fine for him. Nice clear up for Barles, but the switch, that's the scary thing.
Exactly, yeah. Does lose his army. Going to continue running with those archers, but you can already see the Eagle Scout production up in the queue for Jordan. He's got 3 barracks working away. First armor upgrade already in. 35 seconds away from Castle Age, and Barles has yet to click. Very close, though, with the market up in the Khmer farming eco. He will be shortly behind Jordan. But how does he deal with those Eagles and their raiding potential? Can he keep Jordan's focus at home as he brings the scouts forward?
Second stable. Maybe full light cav crossbow the option until you can go for some knights. Jordan, still a reasonable amount of villagers on gold. But eagle number, not scary. At 4 only. That's why I wanted to see maybe another barracks instead of 3 barracks here. The 4th one could have been nice, but... Well, Feudal Age Eagles produce just so slowly.
Barles gets the cleanup on those Feudal Age archers in the back of his base. So feeling fairly safe at the moment. Also getting a little bit of rating in on the farming eco of Jordan. Eagles forced to stay home for the moment to look to clear up those 2 archers harassing the gold. Eagle Warrior upgrade is in. Squires is in. So they've got that move speed. Definitely a threat now are these Eagles. But again, not a threat if they're in Jordan's base.
And that Scout wanted to walk outside of the map. Forging now for Barles. He's going for the upgrades. Scout production continues. And Jordan might struggle a bit. Now mining camp on the outside, but that means he is opening up his gold for potential raids later on.
Yeah, Monastery goes down for Jordan. Wants to get those really strong Aztec monks out onto the field, but we've got plenty of scouts as well for Barles. So
double monastery, holy moly! And as we all know, 5 relics, all 5 on the outside though. So we'll take quite some time to control those. 3 at the right, 2 at the left. Way better positioning for Barles when it comes to relics.
Tracking these 2 eagles that are looping around the right-hand side for Jordan right now. They'll arrive right as this TC is intended to go down for Barles. There are some very low health villagers in this area because of the raiding that was done earlier. Quick walls start to go down. Doesn't get them down completely. Barles might lose a vill to this. Tower there, though, in defense means this TC will go up with the walls. Only a vill or 2 going down in return. Although farming raids as well, though, for Jordan. Like, this is the difficulty of dealing with eagles, is they're potent even in small numbers.
Yeah, so annoying. Knight, obviously a good unit to scare them away. But we need husbandry, we need the proper knight numbers as well. Look at that, she baited one of the knights to the left-hand side. And the other 3 eagles still finding damage.
Yeah, big picks. Just poking away at these villagers. Getting nice kills here and there. 5-0 is the eco KD at this point for Jordan. Now 6-0. So Vill leads and military lead in terms of numbers. Of course, when you're producing knights, the value of those are arguable. Numbers are not always the only thing that matters, but Jordan's eco at home is now feeling very, very good. Safe gold, income, wood, food. Nothing really has been perturbed for quite some time.
Do we have any chance? Okay, 1 relic already on the way home. Second one looks very reasonable to be reached as well. And more raids. It's funny how Jordan just refuses to send any units through the center right now.
I know, it's quite odd, but in some ways it's actually very smart because it's when you've got pressure coming in from both flanks for Barles, he keeps having to bring his cavalry back to deal with the eagles. He finally gets a small force of knights forward to harass, but eagles and monks at home means possibly a conversion comes through. Did get 1 snipe onto one of those Aztec monks, runs away with 2 of his remaining knights.
Nice micro with the knights, but it's just so tricky. Jordan's just swarming.
2 TCs to 1 for Barles, so over time you like to think he will get an eco lead, but these raids from Jordan continue to be effective in keeping the vill numbers down. I gotta wonder if Barles has to start thinking about reversing the pressure, maybe bring a siege workshop forward and try and just go knights, siege, maybe one or 2 scorps to deal with the infantry.
Can he protect the siege, though? That's the big question, right? Especially now with pikemen out. It is tricky for Barles to really dictate the fights. Eagles just constantly raiding, and it just feels like he is running behind Jordan, and Jordan's numbers are increasing. Now gets the second TC up at the left-hand side as well. And Jordan on the way to get his second relic now.
Just more eagles coming in on the right-hand side. Knights continue to have to sit at home for Barles, protecting front, back, left, right. Pikes now on the field for Jordan. That's going to feel incredible against the knight spam that Barles is currently relegated to.
Even further, that the monks can walk faster and can get the relics at the side a bit quicker. Funny move here. And it just seems like Jordan is slowly but surely growing. And Barles, he's trying to put out the fires, but Jordan just so actively putting on more.
He's just being raided to death. He's got 20 idle villagers while yes, the overall villager count is still relatively even between the two players, Jordan's villagers have, 75, I'm looking real quick, 75% efficiency to the 50% efficiency that Barles has had over the last minute. So you can start to feel how that eco damage is taking its toll on Barles' production. We got a massive group of eagles now pressuring those two stables at the front of Barles' base.
4,000 extra resources here for our Adsex player. Just crazy how better he is sitting there. Got wheelbarrow, force villagers as well, already carrying more. And now he's pressuring the stable at the front. Already got arsenal as well. Those stables are going down quickly.
Yeah, lightning fast. First one goes down just now. Jordan now feels that he's got so much control, he can even drop a third TC in the center of the map. Knights are trying to push this force of eagles back. They'll achieve that for just a moment before Jordan once again comes in for another swing of damage. It's looking tough for Barles in this situation. I'm not even sure what the answer is at this point. You're behind in TCs, you're behind in villagers, you're behind in military count, you're behind in upgrades.
And you're getting swarmed. Your economy is looking so rough now. And yeah, it just seems like the monks won't really do the job here, especially against Aztecs Eagles that are swarming everything. Worker efficiency goes down, and Jordan is hungry for the NAC main event. Pop 100 against 70, somehow trying to make the hold happen, but Jordan actually arrives with light cav.
Yeah, Barles, he throws everything he has at the fight in his own base, under the TC, with villagers garrisoned, all the knights that he has at his disposal, and it's still not enough to take down the Eagles and the Pikes. They continue to raid. Barles, he doesn't want to let go of this game because it would spell the end of his series and his chances at NAC4, but Jordan in complete control right now. It's going to take nothing rather, short of a miracle for Barles to bring this one back. More barracks being dropped forward now for Jordan. It looks like he's getting into the position where he's prepared to just keep spamming military into the back of Barles' eco.
And he's getting the GG. Have fun in Berlin. GG. Jordan will make it to the NAC4 main event and be the 10th player joining the party. GG, well played. Tough set here, and Barles, well, some rocky games. Loved the Arabia game out of him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Loved that Arabia game. And in all honesty, right, I mean, Jordan is a massive name. Barles definitely one of the dark horses of the qualifier. Should, I think, be very happy to have made it into that decider match. Competing with the best of the best. Narrowly misses his opportunity to be at this LAN and this iteration of NAC. But again, you're doing it against one of the all-time greats in the game. Jordan had a stellar performance today. I think had, honestly, in this second qualifier across all of his series, had pretty phenomenal performances, showing another level of dominance this time around than last time. I think he had closer sets the whole way through in the first qualifier.
Jordan is now joining us, and oh man, looking back, Red Bull qualifier, you didn't make it in the first one, and then I interviewed you after you made it in the second one, and you said you put a lot of pressure on yourself, Jordan, and it was a rough week between qualifier 1 and qualifier 2. Then TGM, also tricky. You had to go through the replacement qualifier. How was the last week for you going into this weekend?
Yeah, I have a love and hate relationship with qualifiers, I feel like. Because they're both things at once. At one time, it's a privilege to play there, but also it's a big burden to play there as well. So yeah, it's very stressful. The last 2 weeks were extremely stressful, and as a player, you want to be at the best, and therefore you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And qualifying for those main events is just my ultimate goal, and therefore, yeah, a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and trying to calm your nerves, like how did your last week look like? I know obviously you trained a lot like the time before the first qualifier, then fell short against Mr. Yo. Did you feel like, okay, Mr. Yo is just so strong, I'm still playing good, if I repeat my game, I'm fine? Or was it more like trying to fix some problems that you found?
The thing is, I prepared so much already for the first qualifier, and I felt like I have figured most of the things out already. So for the first qualifier, obviously a lot of preparation there, and for the second one, for me it was more about focusing on the mental part that I'm capable of providing 100% when it matters, and I think that was very good from me. So yeah, all good from that side.
Nice. Going that set against Barles then, after you beat Hart and Vivi, how confident were you going into today?
I was definitely way more confident compared to the first qualifier, because I think Mistio, my opinion, top 4 players, so therefore he obviously is going to be the strong opponent there. But yeah, Balls managed to take 2 games away from Mistio in the first qualifier, and yeah, beating Sito as well. And Sito is a complete beast, so I knew that it's going to be a very tough one against Balls. But I felt like, okay, if I just play my game, I should be able to prevail there.
But you couldn't always play your game. Looking back at, for example, Hippopotamus, where there was a really wild game. He villager rushed you, you walled yourself in. What was going through your head when it got super messy?
I was like, yeah, I've been there last week. So it was okay. I think this time my reaction was so much better, and I also felt like everything was clean, at least at the beginning. But then it got really messy when all of a sudden I was scouting, couldn't find anything. And then I saw in all of a sudden 3 skirms in the back of my base. I was like super confused. And then I knew, okay, this is going to be a wild one. Yeah, I think I had a lot of idle TC time as well there. But I managed to kill a lot of villagers, so I think we were equal at that point.
I'm actually, that's so cool to hear, Jordan, because it's actually something, by the way, first of all, hey, Jordan, I love you.
Hey, Dave!
Congrats.
Hey, Dave, hello.
But we were actually talking about that all throughout the game, because it was such an interesting dichotomy where you had like, I think at one point like an 8-1 eco KD early in the game, but you had like 4 minutes of idle TC time.
Yeah.
So the eco was essentially even. I'm just curious for yourself as a player, especially in games that are as chaotic as that, like how well or how good of a grasp did you feel like you had on a state of that game? The fact that you even knew you had that much idle TC to me is interesting to hear, because we were kind of like, there's a good possibility neither player has any idea really how close the eco is with how hectic and chaotic it is.
Yeah. I think I had a good feeling because he put me away from the food for a long time, so I knew, okay, that's gonna be a lot of idle TC time. But I also, killed a lot of villagers, so I just felt like it is somewhat equal, and if I just do the doubt market, then I would be able to go up to castle age faster, and then with stronger army, I should be able to win that one. And yeah, when I saw I was struggling with villager production and he comes with scouts, I was like, that ain't too good.
Yeah, he's not hurting for food if he's spamming a scout.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, continue.
No, I was just saying that due to you, I had even more pressure. Jordan, he's like, okay, I'll be there. You better qualify as well. I was like, oh shit.
It's true. It's true. I told Nili that too before you jumped in. I was like, I'm so happy because I did tell Jordan that I'll be there, so I expect him to qualify. And you were the last series of it all, so I was feeling the pressure for you even. But you got off to a hot start. I am curious how you thought or what you felt about Barles' civ choices. Not even like whether or not they were right or wrong, but just throughout the series, for example, like Burgundians on Arabia, that to us was a little, like a little strange. And even Khmer here was a little strange. Like, did he really throw you for a loop in terms of which civs he dedicated to each map?
Burgundians, I was surprised about, because Arabia is usually more open, and with Burgundians, you want to have the gameplay of closed maps, so your economy kicks in faster. So I was very surprised by that, and I have no idea how I lost that game. He must have done an incredible job. That's something I have to analyze. Really kudos to him. Khmer was not the biggest surprise because obviously Dowd went ham yesterday and today with Goff. So I was expecting Balls to expect me to go for a very strong Dark Age rush as well. And therefore, Khmer, I think it's like a good civ to jump into houses. Like, the drush doesn't hit as hard as with other civilizations.
And we saw that on full display, right? You even went for 5 militia there. Still managed to snipe 1 or 2 vills, but Barles was also doing a phenomenal job dancing in and out of houses. Eagle pressure late in the game, though, seemed like it was just too overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the way he microed at the house, like I personally would not be able to do that. So really strong play by him there.
Gotta love it. Well, 4-1 victory for Jordan. I bet given the time of day it is there, you're probably pretty happy that you've given yourself a slightly earlier bedtime than it could have been.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but okay, that's how it is. I think I still played, 100%, and therefore it's not too bad. But I'm gonna enjoy a good night's sleep today for sure.
Yeah. Final question from me is just when it comes to NAC, now that you're the final person to qualify and you have a sense of the other 9 players and the 10 total that will be there, how do you feel about your chances? Have you already immediately set goals for yourself? What are your expectations? What would you be happy with?
Goal for 2023 is to win an S-tier tournament. So I'm thinking, why not start with NAC?
Ooh.
Boom! There it is.
Let's go.
I like it. He's throwing down the gauntlet. Jordan's kicking off 2023 with a bang, looking to hoist the NAC4 trophy. Well, once again, Jordan, I'm ecstatic to have seen you play today and to have you qualified. I can't wait to spend some time with you out there in Berlin.
Me as well. We're gonna have a good time, man.
Thank you so much, Jordan. See you then.
See you, Nili. See you, Dash. Bye-bye.
Bye. Get some rest. Sleep well.
Yeah, we'll do so. Bye-bye. You as well. Bye.
Yes, thank you.